I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding.
And in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf, cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing but not facing the fact in captivity, because they hold us working hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we were some soldiers, but every second that I look we getting cream like.
Here in Houston is 8524 South Bracewood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, zip code 77071. Also, we have classes in San Antonio, Texas. So if you have anyone in the San Antonio area, the address for that school is the 4290, located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the address for that school is 501 Copper Ave, Northwest, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Zip code 87102. And also we have classes in Trinidad as well. And the location for the classes in Trinidad is 17 Jacomar Street, Fanny Village, Point 14 Trinidad. Again, the address for the school location in Trinidad is 17 Jacomar Street, Fanny Village, Point 14 Trinidad. And the announcement for this the announcements for this week is we have a garment raffle to raise money for the Passover, and it's ending on January the 31st. Can I see that paper, please? Okay, I got you. Yeah, so the garment raffle, we're doing a raffle. We've got 3 different prizes. The first prize, the first place winner, the brother receives a custom-made tunic and headband, and the sister receives a leather freighted bag. Second place receives an armband and a headband, and the sister receives a leather Bible cover. And the third place prize winner receives a headband, that's the brother, and the sister receives a head wrap. And it started way back, well, it's not way back, but it started on December the 20th, and it's going to be going through January the 31st. Each ticket is only $2. Each ticket is only $2, so the more tickets you buy, the better your chances is that you'll come through and you'll win the prize. So it says, suit up Israelites, win a chance to look your best with a custom-made garment prepared specially for you. Israel Wear is hosting a raffle on and offline to give away a tunic and headband valued at $200. Each raffle ticket is $2. The more you buy, the more chances you get to win this extraordinary giveaway. So the first place prize winner, the tunic and headband is it's valued at $200. So it's a really dope garment. If you have any questions, or would just like to get some information on the raffle, 2 numbers that you can text. The first number is 936-524-7680. Again, the first number is 936-524-7680. The second number is 281-730-6378. And again, the second number is 281-730-6378. And through the email, you can contact the email. The email is sisterssdoz144@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, concerns, or just would like to get any info, that's the info on the garment raffle that'll be ended on January the 31st. And also we have the Penny Wars contest that we have going on in the school, which the brothers will win. So, keep on doing your thing. Brothers, go brothers. Yeah. And the class schedule for Houston is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. And from Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. And Saturday Shabbat morning classes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We welcome you if you're in the Houston area to please join, come through, gather together, O nation, not desired. And also we have kids class every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's really good for the kids. The kids been going to school all week, learning garbage. So it'll be dope if you let your kids tune in from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If they're in the area, bring them through so they can actually get something good for their spirit. Because going to public school is doing the opposite. It's destroying their spirit. The classes we have in Trinidad is from Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. It's from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. For anybody in the Trinidad area that's wondering about classes. We have classes in Austin, Texas. The location for that, contact the brother on my left, S.O.W, contact Kazak. Contact any of us. And we'll get you in contact with those brothers out there in Austin, Texas. And we have plenty of live classes recorded on Isbhpk on YouTube. So if it's your first time, if you're just getting in the flow, I highly suggest you go on our YouTube channel. We have plenty of classes, plenty of basics, plenty of breakdowns, plenty of spiritual classes. So I highly suggest that you go and you watch those classes and you build your foundation. And also we have a cable show, and it's running every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. And it's on Comcast, local channel 17. Or you can stream it live on hmstv.org. And also, again with the YouTube, we have Isbhpk Kids, where we have plenty of pre-recorded classes for the kids under the age of 12. So I highly suggest if you have kids, you let them watch those classes. You let them watch all of it like a series until they're caught up to the ones that's going to be coming out, so your kids can have some spiritual ammo at a young age as well, you know? And also we have a blog talk radio, and it's hosted by Priest Mashaba, and it's Monday through Friday, and it starts at 9:30 a.m. And to get in contact with that, it's blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. Again, it's blogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA. And they have plenty of classes on there as well that you can check out. And it's a good way to start the morning while you're preparing breakfast, while you're eating breakfast. You know, you can catch the Blog Talk Radio, then head into work, do what you got to do at work, and then after that, you know, you get off and then...
Get your morning started right, you know?
Yeah, it's dope, man. You really get to get your morning started the proper way, the best way. And if you'd like to contact any of the teachers, any of the priests, we have priest Quatazab right here to my left. We ask that you only text during class. And the number for priest Quatazab,
303 557
557
8979.
8979. Nah, because but I was going to say, you know how like when you give somebody a number, they repeat it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they put it in their brain.
Yeah.
Or they don't even write it down, they just say it.
But you got Priest Kazakia's number. It's 281-707-2737. And also you have Priest Dahawam's number. His number is 832-941-2443. So if you'd like to get in contact with any of the teachers, any of the priests, ma'am, have the personal number for any questions or concerns, you know? And if you'd like to email us any questions or concerns or anything, our email address is isbhpk@gmail.com. And we have our garments that we do make monthly. The sisters are always on them year round. And if you'd like to have a custom garment made, you can always hop on Facebook and hop on Israel Wear on Facebook. And we have plenty of garments on there, so you can check it out. And then you can have a nice custom made garment, tailor-made for you. Put in with a lot of spirit from the sisters. And also we're collecting Passover garment money monthly. So every month, you know, we're collecting money for your Passover garment. That way it can be worked on throughout the year. And at the end of the year, for Passover, it's not just one big rush for the sisters where they got to stay up all night and they're trying to make everybody's garments. So we try to do it this way. That way it's not such a heavy burden on the sisters. And also the sisters work on unity garments all year round. So, you know, you can always ask about details. And last thing, donations. The Wells Fargo account number is on the screen. Again, the Wells Fargo account number is on the screen. And if you'd like to Google Wallet us any money, any donations to help out with the school, help out with the rent, help out with whatever we have going on, the Google Wallet is isbhpk@gmail.com. Again, the Google wallet is isbhpk@gmail.com. And all forms of donations are accepted and loved. It all goes back to your people. I mean, Bibles, apocryphas, pens, dictionaries, Josephus, ram's horns, menorahs, Torahs, pens, pencils, highlighters, cars, computers, laptops, clothes, whatever. It goes back to your people. So it's all for your people. It's not you. It's not. We don't just consume it. So yeah, and that'll do it for the announcement. So if you have any questions online, please send them through. The faster, the better. And does anybody have questions in here?
Any questions?
Chapter 10 and verse 9. Is that what custom is that? Spread silver into plates. It's brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz. The work of the workmen.
Right.
And of the hand of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men. I was wondering, like, if the spreading the gold and the silver on plates, is that some type of custom that if so, what kind of custom was that being referred to?
So you want to know what custom that is specifically? That I would have to look into further. But I mean, when you go into the whole, obviously we know what Jeremiah chapter 10 is talking about, right?
Con.
Yeah, con.
You know, it was talking about the whole. Damn, why can't I find Jeremiah in my Bible? Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, I keep flipping. Right. So you just say the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all works of cunning men. I'd have to look and see what that equates to, because it all equates to something.
Yeah, because jumping up, it's Christmas.
Right.
So I was wondering if that was a particular type of, and then or was worked into society as a custom.
Well, this is the thing. You gotta jump back to Jeremiah 10 verse 2 real quick. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Here was a heathen custom onto plates. And even if they did, they wouldn't use silver and gold because there's not enough of it. Right? Like even when they deck the tree, it says they deck it silver and gold. What do they do now?
They use like the tinsel.
That or they use real silver and gold, but it's still the same thing.
Right.
I'm a one. What were you gonna say?
The silver and on the plates and gold, it sounds like china, like fine china that you get passed down from your family.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to. I mean,
I know it's big in like other places.
Oh, like to pass down china. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to look more. I don't want to just go off of that. I would want to look more into what that actually. I mean, you got to remember when you even look about Christmas. Think about it. This is just talking about the tree aspect. Right?
Right.
Well, Christmas is a mashup of a few different, or the other. The gifts. That's part of the tree. They give the gifts to the tree.
The Yule log.
The Yule log is another part. The mistletoe represents something else. So there's. I would have to look and just see if I'm trying to rack my brain right now to see if there's any tradition that they do now that is equal to. What's up, Aria? Isbhpk rebukes. The spirit of
bad content.
Of bad. So yeah, I'll look into that for you, bro.
Come. Water.
There's two things I gotta look into. I still got a question for Allison to answer that I gotta look into. The next question online is somebody read that.
It says, It says, is our neighbor and brother just referring to fellow Israelites? I say this because technically would Esau be our brother coming from the same mother? Also bad connection.
We are working it out. We apologize. Is our neighbor and brethren just referring to fellow Israelites? I say this because technically, would Esau be our brother coming from the same mother? Yeah, if you want to get technical, came from the same parents. If you wanted to be technical, but then the scriptures do say if you want to get to the technicalities, and I hope y'all are listening to the words that I'm using. I'm not up here saying that Esau's our brother. We need to love him, hold hands, and make unity and peace and join hand in hand. That's not what I'm saying. Technically, yes, he is our brother. We came from the same parents. But then we know that through that something happened. Go to Genesis 5 and verse.
Together within her.
Right. So there was 2 children within Rebekah. We know this. They were battling. Go ahead.
If it be so, why am I thus?
Right. Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So she went to go ask the Most High. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 what?
2 nations are in 2 manner of people.
Yeah, 2 people with different mannerisms are going to be separated from the bowels. All right, so we got to remember. We got to remember if we're dealing with the technicalities, yes, because that's what Esau would be considered. He would be a Hebrew. He was just not an Israelite. What you got? No, you don't have to go there because we know. Yeah, there was another scripture. Sorry, I can't hear. Clear response to question due to connection. Damn. What you got?
Did you want the one in Obadiah?
No, no. Because we know that they're brothers. Yeah, we know that they're brothers. The question is this: they're basically. It's like, are they? Well, yeah, go to Obadiah, because now when you look at the question, it says, I say this, technically would Esau be our brother coming from the same mother? They are our brother. That's the thing. Go to Deuteronomy. Go to Deuteronomy
23 and verse 7.
3 and verse 7. Yep.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Yeah, you should not hate an Edomite. Why?
For he is thy brother.
Because he's thy what?
Thy brother.
Right. So if we're brothers, then what? And we come from the same mother, and they're not just brothers with the same mother. Brothers from a different mother or brothers from a different father. They got the same parents. So if one is a Hebrew, technically Esau is a Hebrew. Now, what was that? Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 7.
Right. So yes. Listen, the Bible says for us to be if it's possible, to be at peace with all men. So it says, is our neighbor and brethren just referring to fellow Israelites? No, because you got neighbors all around. But if you want to be technical to what is written, and look at it like that, yeah, Esau is your brother. The Deuteronomy says it. Deuteronomy says it. Go to Obadiah real quick. Now we go to Obadiah.
Done.
Verse 8, right?
Done. Give me a gun when you got it. What verse?
Read
against thy brother Jacob.
Against your who?
Thy brother Jacob.
Right. So Yeah, they were brothers. They had the same parents. So if you want to be technical, Esau was a Hebrew. But then we know through prophecy, through Genesis 25:22, it said that two manner of people. Oh yeah, go ahead.
God. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Yeah. See, we're not supposed to hate our brothers. This is why the Most High, like we had this question on Saturday, right? And they were talking about, what was it? Damnation for Esau. Should we hate?
Right.
Yeah, this is why you're not supposed to hate, because we don't understand even the dynamics of the way the Most High has things set up. Listen, we know what Esau is doing. That's why in Obadiah says, because of the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall compass thee, shame shall cover thee. They went out the way, but it's not our job to go out the way, right? It's not our job to render evil for evil, railing for railing, right?
God.
We're supposed to do what the scripture.
Brother in thine heart.
Right, you're not supposed to hate your brother in your heart. You see that? So, this is the thing. What you got? Yeah, read that.
This is
That's a good one. I like that.
Leviticus verse 33.
God. Verse 33
and 34.
And it's not even of your nation, right?
God.
Read.
So if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land,
read,
ye shall not vex him.
Read. So you're supposed to be at peace with him.
God.
Treat him as a neighbor, right?
God.
Go ahead.
But the stranger that dwelleth with you, you shall be unto, shall be unto you as one born amongst you.
Right. You see that? You're supposed to treat him like he was born amongst you. So what does that mean? What does that mean that you treat him as one that's... No, they're supposed to conform to us.
God.
And to our law. That's what it was about.
God.
That's what it was about. They're supposed to conform to the Most High. It was the Sabbath. You follow the Sabbath. Right? Even back then, circumcision. It was like, man, you better go get circumcised. You see that?
Good.
So it was really about bowing down to Christ, though, and showing that obedience to Christ. But yeah, you got to treat, they're around us. You got to remember, we're in the middle of it all. Right? So everybody is compassed around us. We're in the middle. So what do we got to do? We got to live accordingly. Again, like the scriptures say, if it's possible, be at peace with all men. How do you do that? How do you achieve peace? You got to live brotherly. You got to live neighborly. In the sense of the word, meaning I'm not vexing a person, provoking a person. Y'all understand that? What you got?
One more. Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35.
Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35.
Go ahead.
And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee.
So it's saying if your brother, if your brother falls, if he's going through some things, you're supposed to relieve him. You're supposed to help him out. And it also says the same thing for a stranger. It says the same thing for a stranger. So you got to help that stranger that is among you out. You know, you're not just gonna be like, oh, you're an Elamite or you're an Edomite. I'm not gonna help you. Nah, you're the children of the Most High. So you gotta carry yourself in that manner. And how would you look if it? Oh man, you're not my people, so I'm not gonna mess with you. Nah, you're the children. You're an example. You're the example of the Most High. So you wanna show yourself as being that example, not just to your brother, not just to your own kind, because it says a man shall cleave unto his own life, right?
God.
But it also tells you. Oh man, it's in Matthew's actually, the one that I want to go to. But it speaks about when it says like love your enemies. It says to love your enemies. It's something like that in Matthews that I wanted to hit. It'll go with this point.
You get that, and I just want to throw out there, think about it. Solomon achieved 40 years of peace, right?
Right.
How did he do it? Did he just wipe out every nation and then Israel only had peace? No. He had servants of other nations. He dwelt with other nations. Think about Queen of Sheba, right? She came from Canaan, the land of Canaan, and did what? She dwelt with Solomon for 5 years. If he was just like, and were they not neighbors? They were. Every nation that was around us was considered a neighbor. We had to live in the midst of them. There had to be peace and brotherhood, and there had to be an understanding. There had to be an understanding of who was in control. They had to follow that, but to achieve that peace, we couldn't be running into their land like, you filthy Africans, you filthy white boy, get out of here, right? This is our land. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. The only time we went into lands and destroyed people of other nations was when, class? The only time we went in and destroyed other nations was when?
When the Most High told us to.
When who?
When the Most High told us to.
Right, when we felt like it?
No, when the Most High told us to.
Right. When the Most High said, look, go in here and do this. Go in here, go over here and do that. We didn't take it up on ourselves to just execute, some of us did. Some of us went off and created our own program. But for the most part, whenever it had to do with other nations, the Most High was like, look, this is what you're going to do. God. And this is that. We had going with the title of the class, we had a code of conduct. We knew how to conduct ourselves amongst other nations. He gave us the wisdom, right? Go to Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy. You want chapter 4?
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5 and verse 6. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
It wasn't just the law, it was how to judge within the law and how to deal with the people. What do you think Solomon prayed for? He prayed for wisdom on what? How to lead the people.
God.
He didn't say, oh, give me wisdom so I can just call everybody filthy, dirty Hamites and Africans and just kill white boys and no. Run around killing Middle Eastern. No, he didn't say that. He wanted wisdom to rule the people correctly. So in getting that, he knew how to deal with the other nations. Listen, they said Queen of Sheba came and dwelt with him for how long? What was it, 5 years? If he was running around like, you dirty African, you dirty African, you dirty African, you think she would have stayed for 5 years? She was there asking him questions. It said that she was questioning him on all his wisdom. He wasn't sitting there cussing her out and telling her how filthy she is because she's not an Israelite, because she's not a Hebrew. He had a conduct. He had a standard of himself. Think about all the nations that were paying tribute, sending gold and spices and herbs and trees and this and that. You think he would have got that if he was just some off-the-top crazy dictator, control freak, narcissist? No. What he did was he conformed to the wisdom that the Most High gave him and used that to rule. Think about it. When you really look at it, Solomon didn't only rule Israel, he ruled everybody around him. When you look at it, you got to look at it, the wisdom afforded him to have so much of an impact on his people that everybody else was like, damn, we ain't messing with him. His wisdom is too great. Because guess what he had the wisdom in? If you come up against me, I'm going to smash you. He had wisdom of war. But he also had wisdom of how to deal. That's why it says wisdom is greater than the weapons of war, right? Right, because if you got the wisdom, you don't got to go to war. I don't need my guns if I can talk you down or if I can show my rule without enacting violence or threatening. You see that?
Gone.
What you got?
1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 9 says this is on what Solomon did, and it says with the Most High how he felt for that.
You talking about when he prayed?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Give thy servant an understanding heart.
Give him a what?
An understanding heart.
Wait, give me the mouth to just cuss out nations?
An understanding heart.
I don't give a damn about nobody else but my people.
An understanding heart.
Go ahead.
To judge thy people.
Read.
That I may discern between good and bad.
That I may do what?
Discern between good and bad.
Read on.
For who is able to judge this, thy so great a people?
Read.
And the speech pleased the Lord.
Right, because in judging the people, it wasn't just about what's going on within the walls. It's like what's going on outside the walls also. How are the people dealing with, how are the other nations dealing with my people? You see that? It was more than just, I got a bunch of wisdom, y'all do this. What about everybody else out there? They have to be doing something also. Because you can sit there and want to live holy and peaceful, and then some cat outside just comes and interrupts your peace. Then what do? You got to have the wisdom to show the people, okay, this is why we're going to go to war, or this is why we're not. You see that? You got to have the wisdom to be able to deal with a person on the outside and say, well, what's your problem? What's going on? Y'all understand that?
Yeah.
Go to just on that. Well, it's okay.
You still want Deuteronomy?
Yeah, I want to. Finish Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5 and verse 6. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
God, that ye should do so in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Go ahead.
Keep therefore and do them.
Why?
For this
Uh-huh.
is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
Right. See, this was our wisdom. The Most High gave us the wisdom to be able to be a light, a beacon for the other nations. Y'all understand that, right? That the Most High is setting us up not just for our people, but to be able to rule the world. That's what it's about. It ain't just about us. We got to be an example to the world, Craig. Not just the parking lot. The world, right?
Right.
It's not just here. It's everywhere. I was quoting Friday After Next. Just the parking lot, the world, Craig. God, y'all didn't get it. What's up, Aria?
Did you want 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2?
Read it.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world?
They should judge who?
The world.
Yeah, we're going to judge the world. Go ahead.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Yeah, the small matters. Like how can you deal with people? You ain't gonna be able to control all the other 18 nations that are out there. So you can't even deal with your nation. So that's what we gotta understand. Where going back to the question. Let's go back to the question where it says, "Is our neighbor and brethren," just referring to fellow Israelites. You asked, explain Revelations 11 and 1 through 4. We're gonna hold off on the Revelations. I'll let Priest Kazakia come in and drop that for y'all. But how far in Revelations did we get? I think we did Revelations chapter 11.
No, I think we got to 10.
Well, check, Edith, please. And if we did, you can just throw the link up. But yeah, we'll hold off on the Revelation. Well, if we did it, she'll find it and throw it in. Yeah, if you see, sis, if you see Revelations 11, she'll put the link in if it's there. All right, for that Revelations. Go ahead.
This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 29.
Luke chapter 10 and verse 20.
This is perfect for his question, right? Is our neighbor and brother just referring to Israelites? I say this because technically would Esau be our brother coming from the same mother?
Yes. Remember, Esau's from the same mother and father.
Go ahead.
Right. He's from the same mother and father. Remember, your father determines your nationality, your lineage. So we got to make sure we're clear on that too. Technically, remember, I'm saying technically, yes. Technically, yes. But Esau is not an Israelite. That's where that stops. All right. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna explain a little bit before we read it. This is a parable about a certain lawyer that came up to Christ and was asking him. So he says,
I love this story.
And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master.
Let them read it.
Oh yeah, go ahead. But verse 29, go ahead.
Verse 29. You wanted me to start at 27 then?
No, verse 20. Verse 29 is good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Verse 29. Verse 29. But he, willing to justify himself, said to Yahushua, and who is my neighbor?
So like the same question would catch Christ. He's asking Christ, so who is my neighbor? Because Christ said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy strength and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Mm-hmm. So the lawyer is asking him, who's my neighbor? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're reading right now. Verse 30, go ahead.
And Yahushua answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him.
On this trip, while you're on the trip by yourself, you got robbed. They beat you down. They took what they left you half dead. Keep reading.
And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side.
Now this is a priest. This is a man of the Lord. A priest sees you half dead, sees you pretty much dying, and he's like, oh, forget that. Let me go on the other
across
side.
The street.
I don't want to have to deal with you.
It's like when you see that bum and you don't want to give him no money, and you cross the street. Come on, man, we've all done it.
You don't make eye contact.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done it. I mean, let's be real. We've all done it. Am I saying this right? Am I saying this wrong? No, you probably just don't want to give him no money that day. Because why? You figured that when you saw it, you gave him money the last time, the dude went and got him a bottle. We've done it. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the priest though, so the priest.
But this is the priest, right?
This is your brother, of course, because he's the priest, and he's the highest example, the highest form of holiness that you will have around you at the time. But he passes on the other side, and he's supposed to be your brother. He's supposed to know how to act, how to carry himself, how to be brotherly, right? Read verse 32.
Verse 32. And likewise, a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side.
And even worse, now you have a Levite, which is a priest also. He comes and he sees you, and he just looks at you, and he's like, yeah, pass by on the other side. I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm not going to help you. These are your brothers. Now, I want you to put yourself in that predicament and ask yourself, okay, these are my actual brothers. These are my actual neighbors. That's actually
These are my nation of people. These are my kin. Right? These are my brothers according to the flesh. You're supposed to have my back. Right? You're supposed to be there for me. When I'm in need, you're supposed to be there to help me up, and vice versa. Why? Just off the strength of, we got the same blood. Right?
And most of all, when I fall, you just going to look at me? Or you going to help me up? You going to look at me? Or you going, hey, let me help you up, bro. Let me show you some form of kindness. But nah, these are Levites. These are actual priests, and they're just looking at him, damn near mocking him. Can you imagine, man? You're half dead, and somebody comes and just looks at you, and that's your brother. You can't get up. You're dying, and he just looks at you, and then he just leaves you.
I was in a bad car accident by myself. Car halfway, half of the car smashed in on me. I was barely able to crawl out the car, and Issachar come by and just laugh at me. And I'm like, thanking God I'm alive, but barely getting out the car. And Issachar just laugh at me. I'm like, no one trying to help me, nothing. Just laugh and kept riding.
But our people do that now. It's like something's happening the first. You want to world star everything instead of helping your brother. You rather put him as an open shame or a mockery. He didn't have his Snapchat. But I'm sure they probably went and told somebody. Yeah. I'm sure they walked like, man, there was this dude down here. He was bleeding out, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure that's what happened. Right?
No, our people, he probably took his money too.
Yeah, pocket check. No, you don't need that. You about to die? Yeah. Yeah, it's real though. You see it in TV shows, but they do that.
Right.
What did Denzel do in the Book of Eli? When he
Some cattle.
no, when he am I tripping? Is it a different movie?
They shot a raffle.
Where he took his boots? Oh no, it's some.
Took his boots.
But they even did it on Friday though when Debo got knocked out and the dude came and took his shoes.
Yeah, see, yeah.
So it's showing how our people are, but that's your own brother. But let's see how the Samaritan, a stranger, a Gentile, and at this time the Samaritans, remember the Samaritans and the Jews had no dealings.
Yep.
So out of all the other nations, the Samaritans, a Samaritan will be the least to help you out. But read verse 33 and let's see what it says.
But a certain Samaritan, as he sojourned, came where he was, and he saw him, and he had compassion on him.
So when the Samaritan, which is your worst enemy, which is someone that would have no dealings with you, he sees you and he has compassion on you. He's like, damn, let's see what the Samaritan did for him. Keep reading.
Verse 34. And he went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine.
So he went out of his way and bounded up his wounds. And then he pours oil and wine on him. So he spent his own money on him. Keep reading.
And set him on his own breast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him.
So not only did he bound him up, heal him up, anoint him with oil, but he took him to a hotel. He took him to a hotel and took care of him in that hotel. Read.
And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pennies, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee.
If you fall, you have the priest that didn't even come to check on you. You have a Levite that comes and he just looks at you.
And think about it, the Levites knew the laws.
God.
They knew the law in and out. They were supposed to. So he didn't even check on you. The man that knew he was supposed to do that, he was like, man, I ain't messing with that.
God. But your worst enemy does it for you.
Did you want the one in Matthew, chapter 5, verse 34 or 44?
Did he finish this?
37. Read verse 37.
Verse 37. And he said, and he said.
That was pretty much the story. So it's like, who's your neighbor? Who's really your neighbor? Your neighbor is someone that's going to love like you. I mean, that's going to, the same way you would want to be treated, that's how your neighbor should treat you. The same way that you treat your neighbor, that's how he's going to treat you, and vice versa. So that's like the perfect parable to answer the question. And the question is our neighbor and brother just referring to fellow Israelites? I say this because technically would Esau be our brother coming from the same mother? And I mean, in this parable that we read, you saw the Levite, the priest, who should be on a higher standard. Even they didn't show the brother love. So, I mean, if a stranger is going to show you love, then who's more of a brother to you? But yeah. Where'd you want to go? You wanted to go to Matthew 5 and...
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 43 and 44.
Go ahead, sir.
Ye have heard that Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Verse 45, read that one too.
Verse 45, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven.
Because when you do that, you become what?
The children of the Father which is in heaven.
Yeah, because the Most High is about love. The Most High is about us being a good example. Because we were given the law, statutes, and commandments to teach the Gentiles. So with us being given the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, we're supposed to act like the Most High.
Yeah, you can't be teaching somebody like you filthy African animal.
God.
Get this word. That's not how you teach.
God.
Right? You can't, you filthy Edomite slave. Get this word. That's not how you teach.
God.
You can't do that to your own people. You dirty Negro. Get this word. That's not how you do it. That's not how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. That's not how we're supposed to. That's not how you walk worthy of your vocation that the Most High has put us in. You got to understand, man, He's entrusted us. You know, if you're a teacher, the Most High has entrusted you with so much that you will never really understand until Christ reveals it. You never really understand how much the Most High entrusts you, how many spirits. Because one mess up, one sinner destroy much good. Think about how much good you built. Build. And then one mess up destroys all that. So we're not supposed to be, we got to be brotherly and neighborly to everyone. We have to be. As much possible. That's what we're supposed to do. You have something?
Yeah,
give me jump to the next question.
Give me Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 26. And this is right on point, with what the brother was pulling in Luke. The Spirit of the Most High in us, man. If you really want to look at what the Most High is trying to do with us, we're the medicine for the world. Yeah. We are the ones that are teaching the world and the nations to come to the laws and statutes of the Most High that brings life. Right. We're the ones that are showing the dietary law to the nations to get their health right. So we're here healing the nations. We're not supposed to be talking illy or ill will to our enemies. Yeah, we understand that they did wrong. But once again, read this scripture.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
But how are we more excellent than our neighbor?
What makes us more excellent? That's the question. What is it?
That's the question. Class.
We read it in Deuteronomy. The wisdom.
The wisdom.
The wisdom is what makes us more excellent than our neighbors.
Right.
You see that? Whether it be a nation or not.
Right.
That's what we got to understand. That's what makes us more excellent.
It shows us how to deal, man. It shows us how to deal with our brothers. It gives us examples on what not to do. Like, once again, going back to Solomon. Solomon had 40 years of peace dealing with all types of nations. But we can't even have a decent conversation with our brother. Mm-hmm. Why, though? Because we don't have the laws and statutes. Not even that. We don't have the Spirit of the Most High in us. We got the Spirit of the nation upon us. We're actually, finish the verse. Read.
But the way of the wicked seduces them.
Yeah, the way of the wicked, how they deal. That's what seduces us. Because why? We love that spirit. We love to bang on people and feel extra tall over them. Like we owned them because we said some negative words to them. We got into their spirit. Nah, man, you threw off your spirit. Because the Most High is trying to show us how to get back our people. How to win people. Read that again at the top.
The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
Read.
But the way of the wicked seduces them.
Yeah, going back to Esau. Yeah, Esau's our wicked brother. But now we got to show him how to deal. We got to show him the Spirit of the Most High. And that's it on that.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers that one. Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, I could say one thing on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Remember also, Christ said, unless our righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees, then we can't enter into the kingdom of heaven. So we gotta be perfect. We gotta go the extra mile like the Samaritan did, and like we read in Luke. We can't. What's the word I'm trying to use here? Like we gotta separate ourselves. We gotta shine. You know what I mean?
Separate the clean from the unclean.
Con.
Right, to show the difference. Y'all understand that, right?
Con.
Next question is, will there be a time the Most High is going to shut down the ways of obtaining knowledge? And you went to Amos chapter 8, verse 11. So go there real quick. You got to remember, there was a time. There was a time, because the knowledge of us being Israelites, it's only how old? Not even 60 years, right? The 60s? So what are we in, 2000? Well, as far as it being put out there, right? It's new. So there was a time that the knowledge was shut up. We'll read Amos chapter 8 and verse 11 so we can just see where he's at.
Amos chapter 8 verse 11.
Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
That I will send a famine in the land.
Read.
Not a famine of bread.
Right.
Nor a thirst for water.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite scriptures. Go ahead.
But of hearing the word of the Lord.
Yeah. See, there was gonna be a true famine of hearing the word. And I mean, if you want to look at it even today, there's way more wickedness on earth than there is righteous right now. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Right? Think about it. There's way more cats wanting to be homosexuals than wanting to be Israelites. There's way more blacks, Hispanics, and natives wanting to get drunk, high, sleep with everything, wear the tightest pants ever, be homosexuals, switch hit,
and still go to church.
And then go to church, but they don't want to hear the real wisdom.
Right.
You see that? So, I mean, we always gonna be in a famine. But a true famine? Let's go to Daniel real quick. What's that? Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I got that. 5-1. Go to Daniel real quick, because we got to remember that. We got to remember what it said in Daniel. That the words were going to be shut up, right? Go to Daniel 12 and verse 4.
Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal it in the book.
Right.
Even to the time of the end.
Right.
Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Right. So you got to understand that a lot of the prophecies and things in the book were shut up. They were sealed. Do we have the whole complete book and understanding? No, we have the scriptures say we know in part, so we prophesy in part. So we know we don't have the complete mystery. Jump to verse 8.
Verse 8. And I heard, but understood not.
Right? You hear the words. Read.
Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things?
Go ahead.
And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end.
Right. So the words were sealed until the times of the end. So who's going to unseal the book for us? Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Yeah, Yahweh Shai, right? Go to one second. So you got to understand that. Go to Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1.
Right. So you got to understand, what was Christ? The book was shut up. But what was Christ's mission? What was he here doing? What was Christ doing when he was teaching and going city to city? Y'all with us? Y'all awake?
Gone.
Is that it? No, that's not it. What was Christ doing when he was teaching? There it is. Luke 24, 45. Go to Luke 24, verse 45. That's why Christ said, no man can come to the Father but through me. Right? So, Christ spoke in parables. He dropped, wisdom in parables. The only way they got it was how? He had to explain it, right? So go to Luke chapter 24, verse 45.
Luke chapter 24 and verse 45.
Right.
Then opened he their understanding.
Then he did what?
Opened their understanding.
Read.
That they might understand the scripture.
Right. And this goes right along with Hebrews 1:1, because go to Hebrews 1:1 real quick. Hold that, Luke. You got to understand, how were we spoken to in the past? Through what?
Hebrews chapter 1 verse 1.
We were spoken through the prophets, right? Right. And our people still didn't get it. It was like the wisdom was shut up to them. Go ahead, read.
God, who in sundry
times,
go ahead, sundry times, and in diverse manners,
and in different ways, read,
spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets.
Yeah, see, he spoke to our people in different manners, in different ways, right? Go ahead.
Hath,
and we didn't get it. That's the thing, we didn't get it. Read.
Hath in these last days.
So in the last days, because Daniel said, shut up the book into the last days, right? Go ahead.
Spoken unto us by his son.
He spoken to us by who?
By his son.
Right, because his son came to open up the understanding, that we might understand the scriptures. You see that? So that famine, the famine happened, Christ opened it up, but then guess what? It's going to happen again, because there's going to be a time when you can't just hop on YouTube and get breakdowns and get class. You're going to have to be in a building. They ain't going to be there. They're going to shut down internet. They're going to shut down YouTube accounts. Because why? As the knowledge keeps going out and coming out, and more people, oh, I'm an Israelite. I'm an Israelite. What's going to happen? You think them nations want us to know who we are? Hell nah. You think they want us to assume our power? Hell no. They're going to do everything they can. And they're doing it. Because what are they doing? They're causing confusion within the Israelite community. Right? Injecting garbage doctrine. Esau ain't the white man. What else? Recklessness is there. You can't ejaculate your wife. There's a home of the truth. All these different doctrines that were never around, they were put there. They were put there because what is that going to do for a person? Yeah, now you don't have to follow the word because, well, there's too much going on over here. There's too many different doctrines. I don't know what to believe anymore. Right? I don't know what to believe. And then there's going to come a time when you can't just hop on the internet and do this. They're going to shut it down. And then what's going to happen?
Grab onto the nearest Jew.
You grab that, or people are going to start losing faith. And that's the thing. You see it with the brothers and sisters that 1 minute I'm an Israelite, next minute I'm a Buddhist, now I'm a Christian, now I'm a Jehovah's Witness, now I'm a Baptist, now I'm this, now I'm that. Until what do? They hop from every doctrine until they hop about the book. Go to 2nd Ezra 5. Something I was looking for. Go to 2nd Ezra 5. What you have to say? Oh, you know that?
Yeah, 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 1.
Yeah, go to 2nd. So, just on the question he's asking, there's going to be a time where the knowledge is going to be shut up. Yeah. There's going to be a time where you won't be able to get it as abundantly as you can. You're not going to be able to go on YouTube and find 50 million Israelite groups, and then it's going to be like, well, let me pick one. Nah, let me pick one that, and that's what, brother, I'm not saying this person that asked the question, but that's what a lot of people do. And you know why it's like that? You know why there's so many different groups to choose from? So that way there is no excuse. If you want to be the hard militant-ass cat, there's a group for you. If you want to be the soft Christian Israelite, there's a group for you. If you want to be in between both, there's a group for you. If you just want to wear one color, there's a group for you. If you want to get dunked in water, there's a group for you. That way there's no excuse. But then there's going to be a time when that all starts to shut down. Well, wait a minute. What happened to the brothers that dunked in the water? Well, they was teaching some weird doctrine, so they didn't last. What about the brothers that said you could rape people? Well, no. They didn't last. Most High shut that down. You know it's gonna go, and then what's gonna happen? You have to stick with whoever's teaching the right stuff, or lose your faith. 2nd Ezra 5:1.
Read that.
2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the token,
go ahead.
Behold, the day shall come,
right,
that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number.
Yeah, it's talking about the end time, right? We're going to be taken in great number. Go ahead.
And the way of truth shall be hidden.
Yeah, you see that? And the way of the truth is going to be hidden. Again, you ain't going to be able to hop online and just get breakdowns. I got my revelations, I got my this, I got my that. Oh, let me tune in the class. No, you either going to have to show up or know what's going on already. Because then there's going to come a time when ain't nobody teaching nobody.
That's like when the Most High said he hates if you hot or cold. It's like when you wishy-washy,
yeah,
you're going to get taken one way. You're going to get taken who you with, you rocking with them, what is it, you're setting your own mind. What's the scripture say? What is that? To be your own mind.
I'm not sure what you're
help me with it. But yeah, no, not being double-minded, but know that you know that you know.
Oh, be convinced in your own mind.
Be convinced in your own mind.
Yeah.
In this time right now, there's going to be a lot of wickedness, man. A lot of different cats going to start uprising now. They're saying that they're Christ, that they're this individual. I'm bringing hope. I'm bringing peace. And that's why the Most High, read that last priest.
You know what it is? There's going to be a lot of people that are supposed to be an example, and they're going to be leading people off. They're supposed to be an example. They're gonna make detrimental mistakes, and it's gonna turn people away.
And it's happening now. Like you got the woman in California that's leading an Israelite congregation.
She's doing what?
So a woman in California leading the Israelite congregation.
They gotta be like Old Testament Hebrews.
Oh, listen, they doing threesomes. Oh, they having all types of
seances.
Oh man, it's like an Erica Badu video in real life.
Man, that's terrible.
Yeah, man.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And that's it's actually an ex-Israelite group.
Yeah.
A lot of ex-members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of cats are gonna start going to their own lust, but the Most High is not dealing with that, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, read.
And the land shall be barren of faith.
Wait, what's gonna happen?
The land shall be barren of faith.
So the truth is gonna be hid, and the land is gonna be barren of faith. You understand that? So yeah, the knowledge ain't just gonna. It's not gonna be like where you can let me pop up in class whenever the hell I want. We might not have class. They might shut us down. Like, yeah, y'all teaching too hard. No, y'all can't go out in the corners. Every time you go, we're gonna arrest y'all. We're gonna enact a law where any Israelite group that's out there, they're considered. I mean, they're already doing it. They already consider us hate groups. And so what it's doing? You go from hate group, terrorist group, to now you're public enemy number one. Then shoot on sight. Anybody with fringes and border of blue, take them down.
With the Bible.
Yeah, anybody preaching that Bible. I mean, y'all seen the book of Eli. It's sort of like that, where it's like, man, go to Jeremiah 31, verse 31. Because this is what it's going to lead to. What you got?
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31.
Should we get that? Okay. Let me see. Read. Yeah.
Come on, Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come.
Wait. Hold on, before you read that. Yeah, go back. We should have hit this. Yeah. You could actually add in Isaiah 29 and verse 10 to your notes back with that Hebrews.
Isaiah what?
Or Isaiah 29 and verse 10 down. You can hit that with the Daniel. That goes with Daniel chapter 4 and verse Daniel chapter 12 and verse 8. 4 and verse 8. That was the first one we went to, right? Where you said Daniel shut up the book? Yeah. And this just goes into it a little bit more. I'll read it real quick. It says, "For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of sleep, and hath closed your eyes, and the prophets and your rulers and the seers he covered." Think about it. What are the seers and prophets supposed to do? If they're covered, they can't see a damn thing. They can't tell you nothing. You see that? And the vision of all is become unto you as as the words of a book that are sealed. It's like trying to open up a book that's in Braille, but you don't know what you can see the Braille on the page, but you don't know how to read Braille.
Con.
That's what it's like. Or you open up a book and it's just a bunch of math, like just X's and Y's, but it means something, but guess what? You can't read it. You can't decipher it.
Calculus book.
Yeah, it's sealed up. Right? It says, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this. I pray thee, and he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. It's like you both have all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in the world, but guess what? You can't break this down. That's why it's no different than you got that book smart scholar. He's like the philosophist. He can tell you about Mozart and all the philosophers and all this stuff. But it's like, okay, go in here and break this down. Lost. They're giving you the wrong understanding. Deuteronomy 28:68, when it said ships, I was talking about Hitler's trains. Like what? What are you talking about? No, it says ships. you see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the snake talked to Eve in the garden, and then she bit into an apple. Where's that at? Well, it's right there in the book. Right? They were in the garden, and he took the rib and yeah, but see, it's sealed. The understanding is sealed. Right? And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I'm not learned. So either way, it's a conundrum. I'm not learned, so I can't even deal with it anyway. I don't know how to read. So if you hand me the book, I wouldn't even be able to tell you what it says. But me, I know how to read, write, spell. But then it's such a mystery. Go to Amos. Go to Amos real quick. It's such a mystery that, man, I can't unlock the mystery. Right? Go to Amos chapter 3. Amos 3. I was actually going to do a class on this too. Yeah, 3. I'll show you. It's real simple. 5 and what? Or 3 and verse. Yeah. Go ahead.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
Surely the Lord God will do nothing.
Go ahead.
But he revealeth his secrets.
He does what?
He revealeth his secrets.
Yeah, because that learned man, right? He's like, well, I can unlock secrets. But who's he going to reveal his secrets to? Read.
Unto his servants.
Unto his who?
Unto his servants.
Yeah. See, it's not for that learned Edomite scholar, right, to break down the Bible and give his commentary and it actually means something. That's not what it's not up to him. It's up to the servants of the Most High, which we know are the Israelites. Right? So that's what we got to understand. And it's not just the Israelites. Brothers that are actually keeping the law. Ain't old Joe Smo, Judite, out on the street going to be able to break down the Bible. Because he's going to come and bring the same garbage, Christian, pastor, Seventh-day Adventist understanding of all the things that he's ever learned. Okay? Now, we just read 2nd Ezra, right? 5 and 1. So it says the land will be barren of faith. Because it's going to be barren of faith. Why? Because there's going to be so much things that people can run to. It's not talking about barren of faith and like believing in just anything. It's talking about the faith in the Most High. The true belief in the Most High. Everybody's going to be running to, I need to be a Buddha. Job, I need to be a Muslim. I need to be this. I need to join Islam. Right? Because you're not going to want to deal with the word of the Most High. Now go to Jeremiah 31 and verse 31. Because then after a time, this will happen.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
That I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Right, so this is the new covenant. Notice how the new covenant starts in the Old Testament. Message, right? Notice that. That starts right in Jeremiah, which is considered the Old Testament. Go ahead.
And with the house of Judah.
Wait, so he said he's going to make his covenant with who?
The house of Judah.
With the world.
The house of Judah.
Wait a minute, but everybody can get in.
the house of Judah.
Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
Go ahead.
Which my covenant they break.
Because we broke the old covenant, right? Go ahead.
Although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord.
Read.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
Go ahead.
After those days, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
I will put my law in their inward parts.
Wait, the word will be where?
In their inward parts.
Yeah, so now it's going to be in your mind. Where if you don't got this in your mind, you're going to be left out. Because ain't nobody going, well, the scripture's going to tell us. Read on.
And write it in their hearts.
Read.
And will be their God.
Go ahead.
And there shall be my people.
Yeah, see, the Most High is going to make it to where you can't stray from this. He said, I will be their God, and they will be my people. Like, I'm going to make that happen. Go ahead.
Verse 34.
Uh-huh.
And they shall teach no more every man.
Yeah, it ain't going to be, oh, let's go to class today. What time is class? Y'all got class? I'm going to come over there if I ain't working. It ain't going to be no more of that. Too late. Because we already got it. We already going to have it in here. And guess what? Every man ain't going to be teaching his neighbor. If you miss that train, then it's just too late for you. See, but this is the end.
You know,
go ahead.
What's crazy is it comes to everybody. The scripture says the word of the Most High is manifested to every creature on earth.
Yeah.
So it comes to every single body. So everybody had an opportunity. It's just that, you know.
But that's why the Most High,
when
you read Hebrews 1, it says in sundry times, he said he brought the words to the fathers in diverse manners, in different ways. It was up to you to see, like, damn, this is the Lord. This is the Lord speaking to me. But guess what? The Most High speak once, yea, twice, but men perceive it not. You see that? That's why it's up to us to be circumspect and pay attention. All right? Read on.
And every man his brother,
uh-huh,
saying, know the Lord.
Yeah, we ain't going to be doing that after a point, like know the Lord. Have faith. Brother, be strong. We going to be strong. We going to have faith. We going to know that the Most High is our power. We ain't going to want to be no damn Buddhists and Muslims. We ain't going to be chasing after that. Is that it?
For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them.
Yeah, because our kids are going to know. Our kids are going to know. We're going to be, they're going to know it's going to be in us, man. It's going to be already in us. The word is going to be in us. That's why I like the book of Eli. I like that, the movie, the concept. Because think about it. The earth was famine of the word. He had the one Bible. And then when old boy got it, he was like, yeah, I got a Bible. I'm going to lead the people. I'm going to be the ruler of the earth. Pops it open. Damn, it's Braille. He can't read Braille. Right? But then by that time, what did Eli do? He got the words in him. Because he was able to recite. At the end, he was doing what? Reciting the whole Bible. Right? From the beginning to the end, because the words were in his inward parts. Just if you need a visual. I'm not saying that's how it's going to exactly be. But it's a good story for a visual of kind of how things are and were and will be. All right? He asked, he said, what's the other question?
So any advice on learning methods of the Bible?
Yeah. Oh, is that it?
No, you got one about Noah. Advice.
I can answer that one real quick.
Y'all both wanted to answer that. Okay, he said he said any methods on learning the Bible? Go to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 28 real quick. Somebody else get Psalms. Somebody else get Psalms. Somebody else get 2 Timothy. Right? Huh? Yeah. Somebody else get Psalms 119, 104, Isaiah 28, 9, right?
And whenever you brothers get a verse, just say the verse out loud, so you let the other brothers know that you have that verse. Come on now, we got to work together.
Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9.
Read.
Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Right. So if you want to know this, how do I get to the point of being able to answer questions, you know, and go through the scriptures? The Bible is saying, who is the Most High going to teach this knowledge to? Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Right.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
Them that are what?
Weaned from the milk.
So go to Hebrews 5 and verse 12 real quick. Hold where you at. Somebody else get Hebrews 5 and 12. See, you got to understand who uses milk. Babies, when they're first born, when they're first birthed, they need milk. They use milk. But it's more than just a use thing. Read Hebrews 5 and verse 12.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12.
Uh-huh. Is that the one? Is that it?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
For the time.
No, that's not it.
13.
Hold on.
It's 13.
Yeah, go to 13.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
For everyone that uses milk.
Actually, let me slow down. Read verse 12.
Verse 12. For when.
No, I said let me slow down. Go ahead and read regular.
God. For when the time ye ought to be teachers.
Right?
Ye have need that one teach you again.
Right. So this is the first thing that we have to understand is that if you want to get to be able to decipher and flip through the Bible and get it and understand it and break it down and deliver it, there was a lot of things that you were taught. I'm not sure how old you are, but think about it. If you're a 30-year-old man, think about how much things you've been taught in your 30 years about church, religion, nationalities, history, right? Somebody taught you all these things, but were they according to knowledge? More than likely not. So it says, for when the time you ought to be teachers, read.
You have need that one teach you again.
See, someone has to reteach you. That's the first. Read on.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Right, so this is the first principle. You got to scrap everything that's been embedded into your head. You got to scrap it. All right? So that's one thing. You got Christmas was a lie. The Easter Bunny was a lie. The Tooth Fairy was a lie. They didn't exist. 4th of July, we weren't free. New Year's, January 1st ain't the real New Year's. You know, you got to scrap all these concepts that were pushed to you. Go ahead.
And are become such as have need of milk.
Right. So now you got to get the milk. Now you got to be such as need the milk. Hold where you at. Go to 1 Peter's. That's what I wanted. 1 Peter's 2 and verse 2.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. As newborn babes.
That's what?
Newborn babes.
Go ahead.
Desire the sincere milk.
So now you have to develop a desire for the milk. You know you need it, but guess what? We always fight what we need. I know I got to go to the doctor and get checked up, but nah, I'm going to wait. I know I should be taking my medicine, but nah, I ain't going to do that. See, the things that we need, you got to desire. You got to desire to get in the Word so you can understand. You got to desire, you got to have that desire to know that the things that I've been taught, I need to X those out of my brain and fill my cup with the right things. Right?
God.
So it says as newborn babes, go ahead.
Desire the sincere milk
of
the Word.
Read.
That you may grow
That
thereby.
you may what?
Grow.
So this is how you're going to grow in the Spirit. This is how you're going to grow in the Spirit. You got to desire the Word. Is that it?
Thereby. God. That's it.
Oh, now jump back to Hebrews.
Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
For everyone that uses milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness.
Right. So, because why? What skills do babies have? Except for to eat, drink, and poop. They don't have skills. Right? It's not a knock on anybody, but it's just what it is. You know, everyone has to start somewhere. And when it comes to this, we all start at the bottom. We all start out as babes and then grow through the milk. So it's showing you that everyone that uses milk is unskillful. Why? Because you're just in milk. You're in training. You're learning how to first eat. That's what milk is for. You're going to get the nourishment, but it's light eating. Go ahead.
For he is a babe.
Because he's a what?
A babe.
Go ahead.
Verse 14.
But
strong meat.
Yeah, but that strong meat, those heavy prophecies, like I know you asked about Revelations. See, that's strong milk. That's strong meat. Those Revelation breakdown, we try to avoid those because we know we have a lot of new viewers and we got new people in class. You wouldn't get that. If you don't know who you are according to the Bible, Revelations don't matter. If you don't know why, if you don't know when the Sabbath is, Revelation 11 don't matter. Revelations 1, the only revelation you should be worried about is Revelation chapter 1, the color of Christ.
God.
For us, that's basic. But for some people, that's strong meat. You see that? Like, Christ is black. And it actually says it? They're like, nah, hell nah. That don't say that. And you show them, they're like, their whole brain explodes in their head. Because it's strong meat for some people because of, you got to realize the way we've been taught, the things we've been taught. All right, go ahead.
But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age.
Go ahead. Yeah, full age. Think about a newborn babe. He can't chew milk or chew meat. When he comes to the age of now, he can chew, swallow, digest. Right. You got to be able to bite it off, chew it, swallow it, digest it. Go ahead.
Even those who by reason of the use have their senses exercised.
Right. So because this person senses through using the milk, you got to understand what milk, if you really analyze like breast milk, like milk, it has all the nutrients a baby needs. It has a sleep additive for a baby to sleep. It has laxative to help them poop. Like, breast milk is just the complete, I'm going to do everything for you. That's what it is for a baby. They don't got to do nothing but just know how to breathe and suck. That's it. But everything else, everything is in that milk for that baby. It helps them poop. It helps them sleep. It helps them grow. You see that? So it's all, I mean, when you look at breast milk, what is it? It's just broken down food for that baby. Whatever the mom eats is in the milk, goes to that baby. It's already processed for them. Right? Now go to Isaiah 28.
Isaiah chapter 28.
Verse 10.
Go ahead.
For precept must be upon precept.
Because what?
Precept must be upon precept.
See, precept must be upon precept. Go ahead. Precept. So this is, no. Did you skip?
Verse 9.
Where you at?
I was at 10.
Yeah, read verse 9.
God. Who shall he teach knowledge?
Yeah, so now the question is, how are you going to be taught the knowledge? You got the milk, right? You got the milk. We're giving you the milk stages. But then how do you deal with the milk? You get the milk, but it's too hot. Baby ain't going to eat it, right? It burns their tongue. They ain't going to deal with it. The nipple ain't right, right? They ain't gonna drink it. They ain't used to the nipple. All these different things where even if you give a baby milk and he needs it and he desires it, why is he not drinking? We gotta train him. We gotta give him the understanding on why.
He's not latching on.
He's not latching on. All these different things where a baby, the milk is there. Here's the bottle. But you still gotta hold the bottle for him. And the temperature of the milk gotta be right. It gotta be his favorite nipple, right? So it's saying, who shall he teach knowledge? Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
Right, so you got to be on the milk, off the milk. Go ahead.
And drawn from the breast.
Right, so you got to first know how to deal with the milk. Go ahead.
For precept must be upon precept.
Right, so the precepts must be upon precept. Like how we jump from this, like how we did, we went from Daniel's. We were answering the question about the end times. We went from Amos to Daniel's to Isaiah, Ezra. We went to the precepts, right? Precept must be upon precept.
Precept upon precept.
Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Go ahead.
Line upon line.
So you notice how he reiterated that twice. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept. Meaning, don't forget this important fact, important principle of understanding the doctrine. Precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Do not forget this, my son. That's basically what it was saying. Like, don't forget this, right? Go ahead.
Here a little,
right?
And there a little.
Why? Why do we have to do that? Go to Psalms 119 and
Psalms 119 and verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding.
Through my what?
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
See, this is how you gain the understanding. I'm one. Psalms chapter 119 and verse 104. See, this is a precept to Isaiah. You see how we did that? We wanted to know what the precepts do. What's the purpose of them saying line upon line, precept upon precept? David was letting us know through the precepts, I gained the understanding. Something in Genesis is going to edify something in Revelations, and vice versa. You got to jump around to get the understanding and the breakdown. Go ahead.
Through thy precept I get understanding.
Go ahead.
Therefore I hate every false way.
Right. So through the precepts, we get the understanding. Go to Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Because we got to remember this also, as people, if you're new coming into the truth, this is what you really got to focus on. Because it's easy for you to come into truth, get the Bible, get a bunch of breakdowns, and then it's like, I've been in 2-3 years, I know the Bible. No. And then all of a sudden I'm into this book, this book, this book, this book, but you haven't fully mastered. You haven't had your senses exercised to get that strong meat and to really understand it and break it down. So this is what you always got to remember. Isaiah 34:16.
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord.
Seek where?
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord.
Go ahead.
And read.
Yeah, don't put it up on your shelf and just leave it. After 2 years, after a year, never feel like you know it all. Never feel like because, oh, I heard that before. We never get to that point, because what's going to happen is the more and more and more and more you hear it, the more your understanding opens up to wait, oh, wow. Well, first when I was a babe, I understood on this level. But now I've been in 3 years and I got a bunch of other scriptures to go with this other scripture. Guess what? My understanding done increased. Right? My spectrum on the way I look at things has broadened.
That's why the scripture says faith cometh by hearing and hearing.
Right.
The word of God.
Faith cometh by hearing and hearing. Right.
God.
The more you hear, keep hearing. But you got to seek out of the book of the Lord, the word of the Lord. Go ahead.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
Read.
No one of these things shall fail.
Right. None of the prophecies that were written are going to fail. Go ahead.
None shall want her mate.
Right. And there's nothing that's going to be that you can match up with the scriptures to get the understanding. So if you got the Bible and it's like, let me go to the book of Jasher to get the understanding of the Bible. Not going to happen. Let me go to the book of Enoch to get the understanding. Not going to happen. It says, none shall want her mate.
That's right.
A mate is an equal. It's not going to happen. So we got to keep these principles, these basics. Go, that's it on that. All right? I know you got two, but just keep it simple. I want to get into this class. It says, it's heavy. Can you answer? Where Noah's son's wife? What was Noah's son's wives on the ark too?
God.
Yeah, they were.
God.
Listen, go ahead. You got it.
God, it's Genesis chapter 7, and it's verse 13.
So the question is, this is going to be the last question, and we're going to jump into this class. But the question was, were Noah's sons' wives on the ark also? Okay? So we're going to answer that.
Genesis chapter 7, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
You want to read?
Nah, I started at 13.
Yeah, you can start at verse 11.
Genesis chapter 7 and verse...
Let's get to the point.
Verse 13, verse 13.
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, and the sons of Noah.
So obviously this is talking about it started to rain, right?
God.
And they were entering into the ark that Noah had built. Okay? So it's telling you who's entering into the ark. Go ahead.
The sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark.
Yeah, see that? So the sons of Noah and what?
And his wives of the sons up with him into the ark.
Right. So yeah, Noah's 3 sons, Noah and their wives. Right?
Yeah, you had Noah and his wife.
Right.
And then you had Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And their 3 wives.
Their 3 wives.
So it was a total of 8.
Go to 1 Peter's. This is how we know it was a total of 8. Go to 1 Peter's. Even, if that wasn't clear, here's another precept to show you that, how many people went into the ark. 1 Peter 1, and you could do, 1 Peter chapter 3, right? And you
verse 20.
Yeah, start at verse 20.
Verse 20. It's a lot. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 20. Which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of the Most High waited in the days of Noah.
Right. So so this is talking about. Obviously, we pulled the scripture a lot for baptism, right? It showed, they're showing that baptism was a similitude. It was a figure of something to come, right? So he said, for which sometimes were disobedient, once the long suffering of the Most High waited in the days of Noah. Go ahead. While Noah was building the ark. Go ahead.
While the ark was preparing.
Right. While the ark was preparing. Go ahead.
Wherein. Few. That is 8 souls.
Right. Go ahead.
8 souls were saved by water.
Yeah, so it's showing you that 8 souls were saved by water. How? Because they entered into the ark. Noah, his wife, Shem, his wife, Ham, his wife, Japheth, his wife. So when you watch the movie Noah's Ark, and who Japheth was like a 5-year-old or something like that, and Noah didn't have no woman, or did he?
Noah had his wife.
He had his wife, but somebody was a baby. One of his sons was a baby.
Ham or?
Yeah.
Ham was it was Shem.
Yeah, he was a baby.
Shem was the baby.
He was, but he had a wife. But I'm just saying, in the movie, they portray the Bible wrong. You see that? So that's why we always got to go to the scripture. That's why, again, seek ye out of the book of the Lord. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. None of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. All right.
Good.
So, if y'all got any other questions, just hold them. I want to get into this class. Because it's a good one. All right. So, we're dealing with. Somebody give me the definition of the word conduct. We're dealing with how one should conduct himself. Conduct, your conduct. Off the top, who knows what conduct is? When it's talking about your conduct. What is it? Yes, sir? Lamont.
Oh, I'm about to say, I remember in...
Stand up when you talk,
I remember inside of preschool, when you was in elementary school, you had this conduct grade.
Yeah.
And then every time you started doing bad or do something wrong, they flip the card. So it's basically the way you carry yourself. It's basically what you're doing to have a good outlook on others, or a bad outlook on others.
Okay, what you got, Abiyar? I don't want y'all, don't look it up, actually. I mean, y'all already did, but I want it off the top of the dome if possible.
Oh, I was going to say off the top of the dome before I looked it up.
Yeah.
The way you deal with people, the way you behave.
The way you behave, deal with people, right? I don't want to.
The way that you carry yourself, how you handle situations.
How you do what?
How you handle situations.
Right, because conduct is also situational, right? It's situational where you might conduct yourself one way in this arena, but then you have to conduct yourself another way in another arena, right? You might have to be hard and forceful here, but over here you got to be light and gentle. But it's up to the individual to know how to conduct himself, right? But we're going to go into, and that's what we're going to go into. Why it's important to know how to conduct yourself, who you're around, what effect does it have? You understand that? Go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 18, and we quoted it earlier. Go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible, 9 and verse 18.
And listen, we got more readers than REI, so brothers, y'all got to stand up and read. All right?
Yeah, don't wait for somebody else to get it. Soldiers.
Con.
Aspiring officers. Get the scriptures, man. Y'all, listen, y'all Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and 18. Y'all
Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 18.
Come on, Ray got it. Who's already going?
Steeds or cuts?
In the Bible.
Come on. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 18.
Go ahead.
Wisdom is better than weapons of war.
Go ahead.
But one sinner destroyed much good.
Think about this. It says one sinner destroys much good. But see, we can't let the works of one person destroy the good that we try to lay down. We can't let the name be tarnished because of the works of one man. Can it happen?
Done.
But are we going to let it happen?
La.
Why? Because what is our job? What are we supposed to be doing to not let it happen? What are the things that we're supposed to be doing to not let one sinner destroy the good we built? What's that?
Or rebuke one another.
We do what?
Rebuke one another.
Right, we bring it out. What else? There's no wrong answers, I don't think. Whatever. I just want to get y'all thinking. What else? What else y'all think?
We counsel about our decisions.
We counsel, right? About before we make decisions, right? And go ahead.
Oh, you have to be in the book.
You got to be in the spirit, right? So what does it show about a person that they're either purposefully or by accident destroying much good? What does it show about this person? One that is destroying much good. Come on.
That they either don't understand.
They don't understand.
Or
come with it.
They don't believe it.
They don't what?
They don't believe.
They lack faith, right? They don't understand. They're ignorant. They lack faith in the system. Now, I want y'all to look up the definition of conduct. What you got?
The manner in which a person behaves.
The manner in which a person behaves. Go ahead.
Especially on a particular occasion or in a particular context.
Yeah, so an occasion, think about it. If you're going to dinner, if you're about to go meet her parents for the first time, you're going to conduct yourself in the manner of what? I'm a nice, gentle, right? Taught man. I'm intelligent, right? You're not going to be in there like, yeah, what up, cuz? Right? You're going to dress the part. You're going to talk the part. You ain't going to be in there with your pants sagging, right? Just talking in the old slang. You're going to conduct yourself in a manner that fits the occasion. Why? Why is that important?
I mean, I know people's first appearance of you, that could go a long way.
Their what?
Their first
impression.
Yeah, first impression of it.
Right, because a first impression can make or break you. Right? Because one sinner can destroy much good. Because you can do much good here, and that one sinner is here. They don't know what we're doing over here, but they know what he's doing here. You see that? And these actions here topple everything, domino effect. But we can't let that happen. We can't stand for that.
Oh, I was just thinking, and maybe reflect. Like if we're having class here, and the brother steps out and smoking a cigarette in front of the door.
Yeah. It's like, what's that smoke?
People that come by or that's come to class, that they might think that we're about that.
They might think that everybody in here smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but he's some random guy that don't know the program, right? But imagine if there's a guy that knows the program. Imagine if I hopped up off the podium and was like, yeah, let me go hit this cigarette right in front of the school. I'm fringed out, garment on. People don't see me on YouTube teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I run around. I'm the priest, right? And I'm smoking cigarettes. What's that going to do for the school? They're going to be like, damn, these dudes, yeah, if you smoke cigarettes, they probably up in there smoking weed, right?
Right. He's adding on.
Yeah, you just start adding things on.
That's evil suspicion.
Evil suspicion, right? But are they wrong for thinking that? Because abstain from all appearances of evil. That's the thing. But, so we're understanding that conduct. I want you to give me that definition one more time.
The manner in which a person behaves,
yes,
especially on a particular occasion or in a particular context.
Jump down to number 2. You're in Google, right? Yeah, go to number 2.
The action or manner of managing an activity or organization.
Right. See, the action in managing an organization. Are we not an organization? Are we not trying to be organized in unity, in the spirit, right? Trying to speak and do the same things, right? But if a man's conduct is contrary, we can't stand for that, right? Jump down where it says verb, and it says organize and carry out. It says behave in a specified way. See, your conduct is your behavior. The way one behaves in front of someone or by himself. In an organization or controlling or running an organization. It's your behavior. If you're the CEO of an organization, you're supposed to behave as what? The CEO. You can't behave as a damn employee. The company, one sinner destroyeth much good. Go to what you got.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 34, verse 23.
Ecclesiastes chapter 34, verse 23. This is a good one. I like it. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and verse 23.
You got it? Everybody got it? Go ahead.
When one buildeth.
When one builds, see, then this is the thing. When one man builds, go ahead.
Another pulleth down.
See, the building is the righteous. The building is, we're building it, or we're supposed to be building in righteousness, right? In faith, long-suffering, love, all this stuff, right? But then what happens? One is tearing it down through his misconduct, through his bad behavior. Go ahead.
What profit have they then but labor?
Yeah, what's the profit? It's just work. You're just hustling backwards. Right? You're just double working. But the point is, someone's bad behavior, their misconduct, is what brings things down. That's what we got to see. You're building in righteousness over here, and another brother's conduct over here is just ripping down what's being built here and here. And then guess what? If you have other establishments or organizations, what is it going to do for them that are associated with you? It's going to stain them. That one sinner is going to stain them. Think about it. You ever watch the videos of like a McDonald's employee, or a Taco Bell employee pees in the chili?
Yeah.
I don't want to go mess with no Taco Bell after that. I don't give a damn where it's at. Right. He peed in the chili in Cali, but guess what? I'm in Texas. I'm not eating Taco Bell. They might all be doing that. They might be all peeing in the chili. No, it's real. I mean, y'all laughing, but it's real. Because now the reputation of this company, it's like, wait a minute. That's the company standard. But then what does the company have to come back and do? Nope, that was that employee. That was his agenda. Because that's usually what it is. One sinner is destroying much good. We've been building and building and building and building, and a man through his misconduct and misbehavior, his ill dealings, right? He destroys the good, or tries to destroy the good that's being built. And we got to understand why. We said it. Lack of faith, right? That's one. Lack of faith in the establishment, in what's been laid down, right? Rebelliousness. The will to want to do one's own thing. To go against the program. Again, that's, right? What else? What else causes this one sinner destroys much good? What is in a man's mind? What is in a man's mind where it's like, man, we building. I don't like that. I'm going to do what I want.
Their own lust.
Yeah, their own lust, right? You following what you want. You following after your own lust, your own agenda. You're not following the agenda of what's been laid down, but you're following your own agenda. Right? So what is our job, though, as trying to walk with godlike conduct? What should we be doing? How should we do it? These are the questions we got to ask ourselves. What should we be looking at? Because if we're looking at these things, obviously the one that's breaking down while we're building, he's not what? Walking circumspect. He's not seeing what manner of man or individuals do I have amongst me. Right? Am I being too prideful? Am I being too cocky? Am I being a know-it-all? Right? Am I dumb and am I being condescending in the bad way? There's a good way to condescend. Y'all know that, right? There's a good way to condescend, but there's a condescending way to condescend. If that makes sense. Where you condescend to somebody negatively. Like I'm going to belittle you. Right? So these are the things that, is this person aware of what they're even doing? Are they ignorant? Right? But we got to understand, no matter what, through ignorance, through willing ignorance, and through just ignorant ignorance, we know we got to understand that we can't stand for that. Y'all get that, right? Con. Go to 2 Timothy. Go to 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 2. Because we said, these individuals, the spirit that's on a person that does this, they're lacking faith, right? They're lacking faith. Read 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2.
Go ahead.
And the things that thou hast heard of me, right? Many witnesses.
Right. So, you know, when it says one sinner destroy much good, you know why the things that are good? Because there's many witnesses that have seen it. They have confirmed that it's good. Right? Many witnesses have said, they teach the right thing over there. We got to deal with them. Online, they're like, we're going to tune in, 50 views, 60 views. Like, they're good. They stick to what they're supposed to be doing. Right? So there's many witnesses. Go ahead.
The same commit thou to faithful men.
Where we're like, okay, we're going to take what we do and commit to faithful men. But some slip through the cracks where I'm going to be faithful for a little bit and I'm going to stop being faithful to what was committed to me. Y'all have been there. Y'all have been there. Y'all have seen it. Y'all have been where it's like, I'm going to stand strong in something. And then what happens? After a while, it's like, think about when you get your new car. You're faithful as hell to that new car. You wash it, you clean it, nobody can eat in it, nobody can look at it, nobody can drive it, nobody can look at it, nobody can stand next to it, nobody can park next to you. You're faithful in that. So after a time, you're like, I'm going to eat Burger King, I got the wrappers, I got all the bottles, people crash into it, I don't give a damn, I never wash it, except for when it rains. Right? But it's the same thing where something good was committed to this faithful man or these faithful people. And they turn their back. They're like, I've been doing that so long. I don't see the point. You know, I've been doing this so long, man, and I'm just jaded. So what do? Well, I don't want to deal with that way of doing things. I no longer have faith in the way that's supposed to be done. So I'm going to do my own thing, dog. Or, I've been doing my own thing anyway on the low. Right? I've been doing my own thing on the low. So now when it's time for me to do the good things that I've been building on my own, what happened? I revert back to me. Because I've always been doing me. Y'all understand that, right? Where this spirit comes from. It comes from that rebellion, from that lack of faith. Again, we can't stand for that. As Israelites, we can't stand for that. In this school, we can't stand for that. No matter what. There can't be, the brother The brother he's a good brother. Yeah, but when we mess up, we got to deal with it. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to ask, because you said y'all understand that, and I didn't get what you were saying right there.
As far as where things are being laid down, and a brother is like, yeah, I get it. But on the slide, he's doing his own way of things. Now when it's time for him to go out and teach what he was being taught,
he teaches his own thing.
He teaches his own thing.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. He teaches his own thing. Because he never took hold on the things that worked, the things that were building the good. He took hold on his own way and tried to mesh it into the good, right?
Come on.
But now, when it's time for him to build, instead of building, his way of doing things is ripping things down. One man build, the other one pull it down. This is how one sinner destroys much good. You see that? Through his works, through his conduct, through his behavior. And there's different ways to have bad behavior. You can have bad behavior in knowledge. You can have bad behavior in speech, in action, right?
Go ahead.
We don't need that. We don't need that one. Because it's going to take it. Right? Y'all get that, right?
Come on.
So, to not fall into this spirit, what are we supposed to be doing actively, daily? What do we practice here? Talking, counseling, but okay, on an individual front, for each man, what are we supposed to be doing? Go to Ephesians 5. What's that?
Ephesians chapter 5.
Not yet. Read. Make sure everybody gets it. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
See then that ye walk circumspectly.
We're supposed to be doing what?
Walk circumspectly.
See, this was the problem. When you're pulling down, when one sinner destroys much good, he's not walking circumspectly. He's walking in his own agenda. He's walking after what he wants, but not after the good of the body. Not after the good of what's building. Y'all understand this, right?
Yeah.
So we have to walk circumspect, because when a man walks circumspect and he's building and he's trying to build something good, what is he going to do? He's going to check everything. Well, gotta make sure that the plumbing, you're building a house. You don't just build a house. You don't just take a roof and throw it on top of some walls, right? And expect that there'll be lights and running water. No. You go in, you check the foundation for cracks. Oh yeah, it's good enough to build on. Then you put your drywall up, right? You frame. You put your plumbing in. You put your insulation, right? You put your water. You put your electricity. Put your sheetrock in. Your windows. Make sure they ain't got the seals are good. You do all these checks. You walk around. You check it. You inspect. Right?
God.
What scripture do I need? What scripture do I need right now? Examine yourself, whether you be in the faith. Get that one for me. You inspect. When you're walking circumspect, you're inspecting things, not just in front of you, not just what I want, but let me check and see what's behind me, on the side of me, above me, below me. That way when I make my moves, I'm not just trampling over people. I'm not just doing the wrong thing and messing people up. I'm not just pulling down what's being built. I'm not tripping over something and it's pulling down the foundation behind me. You see that?
Right.
So it says, walk circumspectly. Go ahead.
Not as fools.
Not as what?
Not as fools.
Yeah, because that's what this spirit is. This is a fool. Laura.
I have the scripture that you asked for.
What you got?
2 Corinthians 13 and 5.
There it is. Got her sword sharp. Getting her sword sharp in here.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
You mean tell me when you got it?
Come on.
Oh, it's like I was wrong.
We go there.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5.
Read.
Examine yourselves.
See, this man was supposed to examine himself. He was supposed to examine for flaws. He was supposed to examine the things around him, not just himself. He was supposed to examine his conduct in the situations and say, okay, this manner of speaking and doing things is fit for this situation, but not this situation. This manner of doing things is good for this brother, but not for this brother. He was supposed to examine himself and the things around him. Jump back to Ephesians.
John.
You're supposed to hold that, baby.
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
God, Ephesians 5:15.
Read.
See then that you walk circumspectly.
Go ahead.
Not as fools.
Read.
But as wise.
But as wise. Go ahead.
Redeeming the time.
Yeah, see, you got to understand what time we're in. You got to understand where you at. You got to understand what's being done. You got to understand the much good that's being built. Go ahead.
Because the days are evil.
Right, because Satan is just waiting. He waiting for that bad conduct. He waiting to put a stain on the good. He's waiting for everything to fall. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Wherefore, be ye not unwise.
Yeah, see, we can't be unwise. Go ahead.
But understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Right, but a fool doesn't understand. A fool is like, oh, I'm going to just do whatever, say whatever, act however I want. Not understanding what the will of the Most High is. The will of the Most High is not for us to build just to break down. The will of the Most High is not for us to offend with our meat and offend brothers and lose brothers. The scriptures say he had his wives win souls.
God.
Not offend everybody you get in front of. Destroy your name. Destroy your work. No. We got to understand what the will of the Most High is. It's to build, to grow the nation. Right? So this is part of the job. But see, a man that's not in the spirit, a man that's not willing to follow the program, he's not walking circumspect. He's just walking straight forward force. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want. He's not communicating to the capacity that it needs to be done, to check, to dot his T's and cross his I's, to check and make sure that things are being done the right way. Right? Go to Hebrews. And we were just here. We were just here at Hebrews 5 and 12. And the reason why I'm going here is to show that if a man lacks in this concept of walking circumspect and checking and examining himself, this is what needs to happen. Hebrews 12.
Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12.
Go ahead.
For when the time ye ought to be teachers.
See, when you're supposed to be out there teaching and building and growing, but things are crumbling around you because of your conduct, because of the way you carried yourself, because of things that you said, because of things, the wrong example that we don't stand for. When you decide that I want to do my own agenda, I want to do my own thing, right? When you were supposed to teach, like it said in Timothy's, when you were supposed to teach the good that the many witnesses already saw, when you were supposed to teach the things that were building, right? But you didn't do that. Read.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
Yeah, you got to be taught again. You got to be shown. Listen, this is what you should have did. This is how that should have. This is what you should have said. This is what should have happened. You got to be taught again. Go ahead.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And are become such as need of milk and not strong meat.
Read, jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14.
And this is the point that I'm trying to get to. Read verse 14.
But strong meat belonging to them that are of full age.
Right. See, if you can't deal with the strong meat of, this is how I conduct myself around brothers to not offend, or this is how I conduct myself around my wife, my children, outsiders, people in the world, This is how to be brotherly, neighborly. That shouldn't even be strong meat. That should just be, that should be in us. That's common sense on how we should deal. It should be. Right? Go ahead.
Even those who by reason have used, even by reason, even those who
Start over. Read verse 14. If y'all see that he's struggling, Ariyah, Lamad, pop up and take over. You good? Okay, read on.
But strong meat belonging to them that are of full age.
Go ahead.
Even those who by reason of use
have... So check this out. Why does strong meat belong to this person of full age? Is it because he's of full age?
Nah.
It's because, read on.
Reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Yeah, because this person's senses should have been exercised on how to deal with this brother, how to deal with this brother, how to deal in situations. These are the things that's been handed down, and it should have been. These are the things that are handed down. But if the man ain't faithful, he's gonna go resort back to his own doing. He's gonna lean onto his own understanding. Right? Go to Acts 24:16. This is what you should be exercising.
Acts chapter 24, verse 16.
Go ahead.
And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense.
You see that? The conscience should be void of offense. You should be like, listen, man, I'm going to be void of offense. Read.
Void of offense toward the Most High.
Towards who?
Towards the Most High.
Towards the Most High, firstly, because why? The things that were committed to me, I should have been a faithful man and carried them out. Now, guess what? The Most High, I'm not offending the Most High. Read.
And toward men.
And I'm not offending any man. I'm now blameless.
Because I'm walking circumspectly.
Because
I'm understanding
the will of the Most High.
Oh, that's cool.
You see that? I'm now understanding what the will of the Most High is. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for my mission, right? I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what I'm supposed to be doing in this situation. If I'm in this situation for 8 years, this is what I'm doing. If I'm in this situation for 2 weeks, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to hold my standard. Hold to the things that were committed unto me. But see, you get individuals that don't do that. You get brothers, you get sisters that don't do this. Why? Laziness. That's one thing we forgot to throw in there. They're lazy. They get slothful. They lean more to, well, I know the whole book. I know I got all the knowledge. So the way I deal don't matter. They get into, well, though I be rude in speech and yet not in knowledge. Okay, but Paul came back and was talking about that. He came back and gave the balance on that. And we'll go there. It ain't about just being rude in speech, cutting people out because you can show them the Bible. Or talking down on people because you can show them the Bible. Why? Because knowledge puffeth up. Right?
Got it.
Right, so we got to be careful of all this. Everything got to be balanced. It can't just be like, oh yeah, Paul said it. Paul was rude in speech, but not in knowledge. That doesn't justify you to be ignorant and to be one-sided in one way and look down on people and treat people this way. Well, I got the book. I know I got the knowledge, so what you gonna do? People are gonna look at you like, what the hell are you talking about? So it's not about that. It's about charity. We're gonna go there. I know I'm jumping a little bit. You know? Read that Acts one more time.
Acts chapter 24, verse 16. And herein do I exercise myself.
See, this is what, when your senses are exercised in. That's what it was talking about in Hebrews.
And just to let you know, the word exercise in the Strong's is eskuo. Askeo, which means to train.
To do what?
To train.
Yeah, but you gotta train yourself. But see, that was the things that were committed to you. The training. That was the training. But guess what? When it was time to train and build those muscles on how not to deal with people or how to deal with people, it was like, yeah, I already know. I ain't going to train. I ain't going to build up my muscles.
Strive.
I'm not going to strive. I'm going to just wing it. I'm going to just do me. I'm going to do it the way it's comfortable for me.
Right.
Forgetting that, guess what? One sinner destroyed much good. The way you did it obviously was not the way. Else you wouldn't need to be here. Go to so why is proper conduct important? Because if not, you'll end up doing what?
Offending.
You end up offending.
Breaking down.
Breaking down what's already been built, right? We already know that a brother or sister that's in this mind state, they're not following, right? Go to 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1. What you got?
That's why I'll pull it. Never mind.
I probably already got it, but it's all good. If I don't,
You want me to just speak on it?
what is it?
Well, about a name.
Oh yeah, I know what you're gonna say. No, I don't have that. But go ahead.
You want to get it then?
Get it, and then. And it's not about, I'm going to say this, it's not about a name, just having a name like, oh. It's about, we got to remember, one sinner destroyed much good. The name means nothing. It's the good behind the name.
Right.
That when the name is tarnished, no one looks at the good. Everyone looks at the tarnish. They're like, oh yeah, they did that over there. They don't look at the good works that's been done.
Good works made the name.
The good works made the name, but guess what? The bad works destroy the good works because of the name that's associated with it. You see how it all goes hand in hand? But that's why it's our job, like Paul said, to stand up for the gospel, to stand up for the truth. Who will rise against me, against the evildoers? Right?
Yeah.
That's our job. I'm one.
I don't think I want to ask it right now.
Why not?
I'll ask it later.
Is it on the point, on the topic?
It is, but it'll take it off.
Okay, yeah, you can isolate it. It's all good. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Be ye followers of me.
Why? Why did Paul say, be ye followers of me? Because you know why? Paul was a faithful man that had something handed down to him that he didn't stray or derive from. So he said, well, listen, I'm following Christ. He's going to tell us. This is why it was important to follow him. Because he followed Christ. Christ had good behavior and good conduct. He knew when to go in the temple and whoop them. Because that was in that situation. And he knew when to draw in the sand and check them real light. He without sin cast the first stone. He knew these things. He knew the situations and when to act. He didn't just say, well, I'm going to whoop everybody all the time. That's what I want to do. He said, I'm going to do the will of the Father that sent me. See, think about that. Christ was sent to do something. It would have been easy for him to be like, I don't want to do it. Right? But he was what? Like it says in Hebrews, it says he was obedient. What was he obedient to? He was obedient to the Most High, but most importantly, the program. He was obedient to what was handed to him. He was obedient to what was told for him to do. Read.
Come, even as I also am of Christ.
Go ahead.
Now I praise you, brethren.
So Christ is saying, listen, I'm doing this. Christ did it. Now I'm telling y'all, read.
That ye remember me in all things.
Go ahead.
And keep the ordinance.
Right. Why is it important to keep the ordinance? Why is it important? Because if we're building, if we side by side building, and you do something out of order, you just set us back. We're taking 10 steps forward, and you do something out of order. You lay the foundation the wrong way, or you build on the foundation the wrong way. Now we got to rip up the foundation. Now we got to scrap the building. Right? And then what? Now we set back. Now all the good we put in, all the good works we did, people walk by the foundation, they're like, damn, that foundation looked garbage. It got rubble on top of it from the building you had to knock down. It got weeds growing. Why? Because one man decided, you know what? I'm not going to build the walls the way they should be built. I'm going to build them according to my standard, according to my way of wanting to do things, according to my laziness. But when the wall falls and the building topples, it's like, damn, they ain't no good builders. Well, then what do we got to do as righteous men? Do we let the building fall? Hell nah. We run with our tools, right? And we start constructing a better wall. But according to standard. That's what we do. We construct according to standard. Read on.
As I delivered them to you.
Right. Why was Paul able to deliver anything to anyone? Because Christ saw him as a faithful man. Paul didn't go to the church and just say, you know what? Y'all just do whatever the hell I say. Or you know what? I'm going to teach this way. Or you know what? I'm going to act this way. I know I'm here to teach y'all bros, but guess what? Women, that's what I'm looking for. Let me spy out all the liberties of the women that y'all got. Let me do this. Let me do... No. No. He said, what? We got a job to do? We're going to do it. This is how we're going to build. Because this is what Christ said. This is what Christ said. Focus on the men. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on building. We're going to build brothers. We're going to build sisters. We're going to take oversight. You got it?
No. That's 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 2.
Go to 1 Peter 5 and verse 2. Add this in there.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2.
Read.
Feed the flock of the Most High.
Right. We're going to feed the flock. We're going to build the flock, right? Read.
Which is among you.
Right. Which is among us. Go ahead.
Taking the oversight thereof.
Right. We're going to take the oversight of the flock. Why? Because you're in a position of leadership. 2. But that's not the only reason why to do it. It shouldn't be because I'm in a position of leadership that was granted me. I'm going to take the oversight. Because then this is what comes in. Go ahead.
Not by constraint.
Right. Because now you're doing things out of constraint. Because why? You didn't take the oversight because, or use the things that were given to you to take the oversight. Right. You didn't use the ordinances that were handed down. You took the oversight of the flock through your own way of doing things. Through, yeah, I'm doing the ordinances, but guess what? On the low, I'm sneaking my way in there. On the low, when I get there, I'm gonna just do things the way I want.
Yeah, what's comfortable for me.
I'm gonna do it the way it's comfortable for me. But your comfort, that might offend. Your comfortable way of doing things might let the house topple down. So then now brothers got to get uncomfortable, right? And jump out there and mend that wall, fix that building. You see that? Read on.
But willingly.
But what?
Willingly.
Go ahead.
Not for filthy lucre.
Well, yeah, I'll go out there and do that. Not because you want to be on vacation, kicking it, chilling, ordering people around, not for those reasons. Yeah, I'm going to take the oversight of the flock. So now I'm in a position of power. So now I can boss people around. I can tell people what to do. I can lead about a house. The scriptures do say that, right? Do we not have the power to lead about a house? And lead about a wife? We have that power. We know we do, but not for what? Read on.
Not for filthy lucre.
Not for what?
Filthy lucre.
Read.
But of a ready mind.
Yeah, it's not for filthy lucre's sake. Oh, we can go there. Not for filthy lucre's sake. Not for the sake of, I want to gain, or I'm looking for something. But of a ready and willing mind to teach, to build, to grow. We're not going to go there. Y'all understand this?
Go on.
This is what we're supposed to be doing as a school, as a camp, as a body, as a nation. We can't let one sinner destroy our good. We can't let that happen. We got to stand up for righteousness. We have to stand up for our good works. We can't let our good, get that one. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. Do I have that already? You got it? Somebody get that. We can't let our good be evil spoken of. through one man's or one person's action, not following the ordinances that they were laid to him. Because he decided he didn't want to follow the foundation. He didn't want to follow the elders. He didn't want to follow what was laid down.
Ooh. Can I get Ephesians 5 or Ecclesiastes 5?
Yeah.
Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 5.
And what was the one that I wanted?
It's Romans chapter 14 what?
16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5.
14 and 16.
Somebody get Romans 14 and 16 real quick.
Romans chapter 14. Oops, lost it. Romans chapter 14 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
Let not then your good be evil spoken of.
Right. That's not what we want. We don't want our good to be evil spoken of. So we have to stand up and say, nah, we're not down with the bad conduct. We're not down with brothers doing things their own way and thinking it is cool. That's not what we're about. What you got?
No, and I like that because the Most High is not about that. You know, we're about what the Most High is about. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 2.
And this is just to show that there's an order. There's a way to do things properly. By Hashem Yahushai. Read.
God, follow not thine own mind.
Yeah, the scripture says, follow not what you think is right. Because the Most High already wrote down in this book what we're supposed to be doing. How we're supposed to do it. The Most High put up elders and teachers, bishops, deacons, whatever you want to call them, to show us the way to be, specifically to be productive and to build and to grow, because that's what we're here to do. We're not here to work for nothing. Read.
God.
Most importantly, we're not here for our works to offend.
Right.
We weren't put here for our senses and the things that we do to throw brothers off. That's not what the Most High wants from us. We're not here to do our own program. We're here to keep the ordinances as they were delivered. Go ahead.
That's why Paul said he's a servant. We are prisoners.
He's a prisoner for Christ.
Listen, a lot of cats don't understand. We are a prisoner to the Most High's mind. We are prisoners to what the Most High wants us to do. It's not our program no more. It's not what you used to be back in the world. I used to sell nickels and dime sacks for tens at this time of day. Then I went to the gym. No, the Most High got you doing something different now. You can't go to a job 8 to 5 and you know I'm a little tired now. The Most High got you counseling from 8 to 5 now. Finish reading that.
Come, follow not thy own mind and thy strength.
Read.
To walk in the ways of thy heart.
Yeah, to walk.
No, go ahead.
To walk in the way that you think is right, because that's not right with the Most High.
Because a man's heart can tell him, you know what? I'm book smart. I got all the knowledge. But guess what? What about knowing how to deal with people?
Charity.
What about charity? What about love? What about knowing how to condescend? What about empathy? What about sympathy?
Right.
What about being all things to all men? That's good. What about being able to look at a person and say, yeah, they don't need 1,000 scriptures right now. They just need me to understand. What about knowing how to listen? See, but a man's brain will tell him, well, I know the book, so I'm free to do whatever I want. No. The greater ye are, the more humble you are, the more of a servant you are. Right? Much is given, much is required. This is what we live by. This is what we know. The more that is given to you in wisdom and in the spirit, the more you got to humble down and become a servant. It said Christ made himself poor. He was rich and became poor for our sake.
No reputation.
He did that for us. So what are you supposed to do? Oh, you're supposed to follow the ordinances as they were delivered. Follow me in all things as I follow Christ. Right? And keep the ordinances as they were delivered unto you. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
For we are laborers together with the Most High.
Right. See, this is the thing. We're all supposed to be laboring together. We're all supposed to be doing the same thing in righteousness together with the Most High. But think about it. If you ain't exercising your senses and we all working together with the Most High, then You're going to offend the Most High and the brothers you work with. Like it said in Acts, we're supposed to be exercising our minds not to offend the Most High and man. So we're all working together, right? Go ahead.
Ye are the Most High's husbandry.
Go ahead.
Ye are the Most High's building.
Yeah, see, we're what the Most High built. Read.
According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me.
Read.
As a wise master builder.
Right. See, Paul was a wise master builder. He knew one thing. You know what made Paul a wise master builder? It was one thing he knew. Read on.
I have laid the foundation.
Go ahead.
And another buildeth thereon.
Read.
But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon.
Paul knew one thing, that the foundation was very important. It was the most important thing. But he knew there could only be one foundation. See, this is the problem where the foundation is already laid on how things should be, on how they're going to be done, on how your actions should be conducted, how your behavior should be. It's already laid down. But then man says, well, I'm going to lay a different foundation. I'm going to lay the foundation that I want. I'm going to lay down this foundation over here because guess what? This foundation over here is too hard. I don't want to build on this, on the good. I'm going to lay my own foundation and see how far it takes me. Not realizing that your foundation is garbage. We're going to read. Read on. Watch. Read.
Verse 11. For another foundation can no man lay than that is laid.
Yeah, you can't lay your own foundation on something that's already laid down. You can't engraft your wisdom into Christ's wisdom, into the wisdom of the Most High. It's impossible. It won't work. The foundation of the Christ is already set. So how you think your foundation is going to add up or mesh in? It won't. Read.
Which is Yahushua.
Read.
Now if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have the foundation. You're going to build on it. You're going to put up your hay, whatever you decide to build, whether it be hay, stubble, gold, we're going to be able to see it. It's going to be there. Right? You're going to build, You might be able to, you do your classes, you do all this stuff. You got some fruit, right? Brothers follow you. You're building. But see, if it's not built on the right foundation with the right material, this is what's going to happen. Read on.
For the day shall declare.
There's going to be a day that's going to declare your work. Read.
Because it shall be revealed by fire.
By what?
By fire.
Yeah, because that trial is going to come through and test your work. That wind is going to come through and say, okay, did you build your walls correctly? And if you didn't, it's going to blow your house down. That rain is going to come and say, did you build your roof right? Oh, you got leaks, you got to get the pots and pans out. Maybe a couple of trash cans to catch that water. And then go patch that roof. Right? The snow is going to come. They're cold as hell. It's freezing in here. Turn the heat up, still freezing in here. Well, you didn't put no insulation in. Because why? You didn't follow the way it was built by the master builder. Paul was a master builder because he knew the foundation was already set. I just got to get the right material to build that house. I got to put the right things in people to build them. This is what it's talking about. The foundation is this. The book. The word of the Most High. You're an Israelite, Christ is black, right? You're from the 12 tribes. But now, I got to start putting things in a person. I got to start putting the right things in a man to let him do what? To grow. So he can withstand his trials and tribulations. We're going to get into that too. Read on.
And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
Right. See, the trials and tribulations are going to come through and try that work. Try that building. Try that man. Whatever you put into him is going to try him. Read.
If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
Right. Only if he built things and followed the orders and kept the ordinances. But if a man says, well, I'm going to do things my way, I'm going to conduct myself and behave the way I want, this is what's going to happen. Read on.
If any man's work shall be burnt,
read,
he shall suffer loss.
Yeah, you're going to suffer loss. Because you didn't instill the right things into the people that you were supposed to be building. So when the day comes to declare that work, when you didn't teach a man how to deal with his wife, and now his wife is ready to leave, he gonna get lost in that too. Because instead of instilling in him the foundational things, the things that were meant to build him, you were worried about yourself. You were over here doing you when you should have been investing into that man. I love that. Read on.
But he himself shall be saved.
See, you're going to be saved, and this is the bad part. You're going to be saved. The one that's supposed to be doing the work, you're going to be saved. Read.
Yet so by fire.
Because you're going to go through that fire too, and it's up to you to withstand. But if this man is not keeping the ordinances, following things the way they should be, seeing the people before him going through the trials, and implementing the same conduct and behavior, he's going to get burnt up also. Y'all with me?
Come.
Y'all understand?
Come.
Go to Philippians 3 and verse 14. Damn.
Philippians chapter 3 verse 14. I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Christ.
Go ahead.
Let us therefore, as many as be perfect,
right,
be thus minded.
See, this is the mind that we're supposed to have. The mind is not, I'm going to do my own program. The mind is not, I'm going to go off the whim, and then now people get offended at the things I say and do. The mind is, I'm going to follow my elders. I'm going to follow what's been laid. Because what's been laid works. What's been laid yields results. What's been laid down is the good. But my way is what's ripping down the good. Go ahead, read on.
And if in anything ye be otherwise minded.
Read. If you got your own damn agenda, read.
The Most High shall reveal even this unto you.
Yeah. If you like, we all supposed to be this minded, but we all supposed to be in the mind of, if we say, look, we're about to go down to Dallas real quick. We got like 10 brothers down there that want us to go teach. The mind state is, okay, we're going to go teach. We're going to take 5 brothers to go teach. But if 1 out of the 5 is like, well, yeah, we're going to go teach, but I'm going to look at all the women and lust and googly eyes, what is it going to do? What is that going to do for the other 4 brothers that are there? It's going to make us all look like we just googly-eyed lust demons. Right? Like we just out here for y'all's women. When we're like, books, ready to go, teach, breakdowns, this. And one man is just eyeing the congregation. Who can I rip down next? Right? That's what it's talking about. We all got to be in the same mind. Look, we're about to go teach. Come. Teach, we get the hell up out of there. Ain't nobody getting nobody's numbers. Ain't nobody side-eyeing the chicks. Right? We're on a mission. Because that's what's been laid down. Was Paul chasing after women when he was going from church to church?
No.
He had to check them on that. So how the hell could he be doing it? They'd have been writing letters to him like, listen, bro, leave our women alone. Listen, bro, conduct yourself the proper way. What was Paul doing? Listen, I hear there be this amongst you. adulteries and murderers and this and that. Y'all's conduct is off. Right. Get it together. Else what's going to happen is the church that y'all are building is going to fall. You're going to give yourself a bad name. Why do you think when you go into Revelations and Christ, you went there, right? You showed me something. When you go into Revelations 2 and Christ is naming all the churches, the Philadelphia, and the 7 churches, he said, I have aught against you. Why? Because they were doing things contrary of the doctrine. God. They were stating their name. It wasn't all of them, but one sinner destroyeth much good. One person can make everybody look like that's what it is. What do they say? One apple spoils the bunch? Is that the... Yeah. What you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, give me 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. Get it quick.
2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2.
And this is what this individual does. Read that.
And many shall follow their own pernicious ways.
Yeah, it says follow their own pernicious ways. If you look up the word pernicious, it says having a harmful effect, especially in a gratuitous or subtle way. Unfavorable, bad. This individual has things that are negative towards others, that offends others. Read it again.
And many shall follow their own pernicious ways.
Yeah, they'll follow their own lusts. They follow their own needs and what they think they want. But this is what happens in the result of that. Read.
By reason of whom the way of the way of truth.
The way of what?
The way of truth.
Read.
Shall be evil spoken of.
Yeah, because these individuals are looking at that person. They're looking at that so-called example. And now the truth is being evil spoken of. That's why we have to walk around in the right way, circumspectly. Because we don't want the truth to be evil spoken of.
Jump back. Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Jump back. Jump back to Philippians. Listen. Jump back to Philippians.
Gone.
Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Read.
Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained,
right?
Let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing.
Right. We're all supposed to be minding the same thing. Not one man's mind is on women and food, and the next man's mind and everybody else's mind is on teaching and growing. The next man's mind is on his belly, right? But everybody else is like, man, we got to go study. We all fasting, but you worried about eating. We got to be the same mind. Go ahead.
Brethren, be ye followers together of me.
Do what?
Be ye followers together of me.
Wait. Some of us follow?
Brethren, be ye followers together of me.
Read.
And mark them which walk so as ye have us for an example.
Right. He said, mark them as an example. Go ahead.
For many walk.
For many walk. There's many men amongst, right? God. We here, walking. Read. Putting in work. Building. Growing. Putting in good. Sacrificing. Right. Read.
Of whom I have told you often.
Uh-huh.
And now tell you even weeping.
Read.
That they are the enemies of the cross.
You see that? Many walk. But guess what? When you walk in your own way, you become a what?
Enemies of the cross.
Why? Because now you're ripping down the good things that were laid. They walk right amongst with us. That's the point.
Because you despise the government.
But guess what? They're not the representation of us. Read it. I need you to jump back up. You got to read it slow.
Go.
You got to go, where we at? Philippians, right?
I'll just finish 18.
Okay. Read, he said, okay, so read verse 17.
Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as ye have us for an example.
You see that? Paul was saying, mark them that walk like us. He was saying, look at them. Look at the good example. Look at the good. But then he was also giving a warning. Read on.
For many walk.
For many walk. He was saying, be circumspect. Go ahead.
Of whom I have told you often.
Right.
And now tell you even weeping.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm crying to you about this now. I've been telling you, be careful. Watch out. Look for the good. Go ahead.
That they
read
are the enemies
read
of the cross of Christ. and whose glory is in their shade.
You see that? What verse you at?
Verse 19.
Read on.
Who mind earthly things.
They do what?
Mind earthly things.
Yeah, they don't care about building the body of Christ. They're worried about earthly things. What chick can I get? What food can I eat? What drink can I drink? Right. Where can I go to free my mind?
Right. What makes me feel good?
What makes me feel good? They're worried about their senses.
Yeah, I'm bored.
But the sensual things. Right? I'm bored. I got to go over here and do this. I'm supposed to be over here building, but guess what? I'm going to be over here doing whatever I want. Not keeping the order. Not keeping the ordinances. Not following what's been laid down. Read.
For our conversation is in heaven.
Yeah, see, their conversation ain't in heaven. Their conversation's on the earthly things. What verse is that?
That is verse 20.
Stop right there. Oh no, read on.
From whence also we look to the Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ.
That's it on that. Jump to Titus chapter 1 verse 9. Did you have something? Or did you have something? Titus chapter 1 verse 9.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 9.
We gotta get this out. Read.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 9. Holding fast the faithful words as he has been taught.
Doing what?
Holding fast the faithful words as he has been taught.
See, this is what's supposed to be done. You're supposed to hold fast to the faithful words that have been taught. Read.
That he may be able by sound doctrine.
Read.
Both to exhort.
Read.
And to convince the gainsay.
But guess what? You ain't going to convince a damn person when you're not holding to the faithful words, when you're doing your own program. No one will be convinced. Because they're going to look at your doctrine like, yeah, it got holes in it. Yeah, we ain't dealing with that because look how he acts. Look how he conducts himself when he's amongst the brethren. Look how he conducts himself in a situation where he's supposed to be doing one thing, but now he's doing another. How can we trust this man's doctrine? How can we trust his teaching? Again, it's not representation. The thing is, this is what you would call individualism, which we know we're not supposed to be individuals. The scriptures say we're supposed to be in one mind, one judgment. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. Right? We know that. We know that. Where we at? Oh, keep reading.
Yeah, keep reading. I got it.
You want that,
keep
right?
reading.
Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Right.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers.
See, and this is the issue. There's many unruly people that don't like to be under governments, bodies, under a method. Read.
And vain talkers.
Read.
And deceivers.
Come on.
Especially they of the circumcision.
Especially they of what?
Of the circumcision.
Yeah, so they're especially amongst us. These are the Jews. These are the so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and Negroes, our own people. But check this out. Read.
Verse 11. Whose mouths must be stopped.
Yeah, because these are the people that don't like to follow rules. They want to do their own thing, their own mind, what they think is right, how they feel, their emotions.
And what it does, they start to conduct themselves in a manner that's not becoming of Christ. They start to conduct themselves in a manner where they offend. Go to oh, that's not it? Go ahead, finish it up.
Finish it up.
Sorry,
verse 11.
Verse 11. Whose mouths must be stopped. Who subvert whole houses.
Yeah, they turn over whole houses from the words that come over their mouths. These are how there's enemies. This is how the truth is evil spoken of. Because of the result of their actions. Read.
This is how you become an enemy of the cross.
Come on.
You're subverting whole households with your actions. You might not be saying the wrong things, but guess what? Your action. Or you might have the actions, but your words might be off.
Right.
See, that's why your conduct has to all line up. It ain't about, oh, I did one thing and messed up. No, it all got to line up. Follow the ordinances as they've been delivered. The ordinance is this. We all speak the same thing. We all do the same thing. This is what you're here to do. This is what you're here to say. Do it and leave.
Done.
That's it.
Done.
What you done?
Nah, finish that.
Finish it up.
Who subvert whole houses.
Read.
Teaching things that which they ought not.
Yeah, then you start going off on your, because that individualism,
right.
It says, well, you know what? yeah, brothers dropped it this way, but I'm gonna drop it this way real quick.
Right.
I'm gonna give it to you right here.
Yeah, I read this.
I was reading something, and this is what makes sense to me. Instead of saying, you know what, let me hit up my elder. Let me hit up the brother above me.
Right.
And do things decently in order, and check and make sure that what I'm about to drop is even, the people I'm going to drop it to are even ready for it.
Right.
You see that?
Go ahead.
Because knowledge puffeth up. Go ahead, finish.
For filthy lucre's sake.
For what?
For filthy lucre's sake.
Jump to what you got.
I was going to say good.
All right, jump to Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. This is why it's important to have proper conduct, because there are people that are looking, watching, and around. Again, one sinner destroyed much good. But we have to be mindful, and here we're very mindful of our conduct and the way we do things. Think about it. We got a business in the damn mall.
Same thing. Yeah.
We got a business in the mall. We rocking fringes. They know who the hell we are.
Right.
You think we could just run around there like damn little beast animals? No. We got to follow the ordinances that were dropped for the business. This is how you deal in the mall.
Yeah.
This is how you deal with people. This is how you deal with the women. This is how you deal with the men. This is how you deal with the kids. Kiss babies and shake hands. That's what it's about.
That's it.
You got to be a damn politic up in there.
Oh, come on.
But blameless. You got to be a righteous politician.
Right.
You ain't lying to people. You ain't stabbing in the back and kissing them. Nah. You got to be blameless. Read that. Hebrews chapter 12 and 1.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1.
Read.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
Think about it. It's a cloud of witnesses. It ain't just one or two people.
Right.
It's a cloud of witness. Read.
Let us lay aside every weight.
And see, the weight. This is where it gets tricky. Because the weights can be a lot of different things. The weights can be how a brother delivers his knowledge. Because now people are looking like, damn, how can he be so arrogant when he delivers? How can he be so arrogant in his knowledge? How can he act like he knows everything? He could be arrogant in his doing of things. He could be arrogant in the way he teaches. You see that? Read on.
And the sin that which doeth so easily beset us.
Read.
And let us run with patience.
1 Corinthians 8 and verse 1.
And let us run let us run with patience.
Read.
The race that is set before us.
Yeah, because think about it. We're running this race. The foundation of the course has already been laid down. The foundation of how to run the race has already been laid down. But when you want to run, when you want to run the wrong way, when you want to run backwards, and everybody's running this way, you're running that way, what's the point? You're messing things up. 1 Corinthians chapter 8.
1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1. Now as touching things offered unto idols.
Read.
We know that we are all we know that we all have knowledge.
Right, we all got knowledge, right? We all have knowledge of the Bible. We got knowledge of the scriptures.
Right.
But then you have some men that have more knowledge than others. And what happens is they offend in their knowledge. And it's not the fact that I know a bunch of stuff, but it's the fact that I know a bunch of stuff and you don't. So guess what? I belittle you. I belittle you. I look down on you. I point down on you. I speak to you harshly. Read on.
Come on. Knowledge puffeth up.
It says knowledge does what?
Puffeth up.
Knowledge puff you up. You get big-headed, arrogant, pompous. Read.
But charity edifies.
Somebody get 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 4. Hold where you at, Ray.
1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Charity suffereth long.
Charity does what?
Suffereth long.
See, charity suffereth long. Read.
And is kind.
Is what?
Kind.
Read.
Charity edifieth.
Read.
Charity envieth not.
Read.
Charity vaunteth not itself.
Read.
Is not puffed up.
Yeah, see, charity ain't puffed up. Charity is supposed to edify. See, it's not even really about, because you got brothers that give. They give. But what are you giving?
Mediocreness.
Well, no. Are Are you giving according to what a man needs? Or are you giving according to what you want to give? That's the point. Because I may need this type of medicine, and because you have medicine, you're like, well, I'm gonna give you whatever I want. I might need to be healed, and you're like, well, I got knowledge, so guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you some more. I just need to be healed. I don't need to be cut. But since I'm so puffed up, I can't see past what needs to be given. So now my charity is off. But I gave you this. I gave you this. But that's not what I needed. Because why? Going back, those senses weren't exercised. So now it's like, well, yeah, you bit. So now, guess what? I'm giving the wrong thing. I offend. And then what happens? All the good that I did, all the things I gave, no longer matter. Now your good is evil spoken of. Now one sinner destroyed much good. You see how it keeps going hand in hand? We got to be mindful of this. Where we at?
That was the end of verse 4. Verse 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Doeth not behave himself unseemly.
It doesn't what?
Doeth not behave himself itself unseemly.
Yeah, see, charity got good behavior. Charity has good conduct. If you're charitable in the right way. We all been said, we all sacrifice and give. But are you sacrificing what's needed? Are you giving what's needed at the time? See, charity knows the time. It ain't about, I got all the books and knowledge and I know everything. It's about, can I just have a talk with you? And we can just reason? Without, I don't need to have, I got this book, and this ancient and that. I don't need that. I just need a brother to rap to me. Hear me out. I need to vent. I might need to vent and curse you out. And for you to say, damn, I understand. I can empathize now with you. Instead of, what the hell's the problem? What? Drop. Right? You might not need that because of, but then guess what? The senses have to be exercised to know what's the situation? What's going on with this man? Y'all understand this, right?
God.
Because when the wrong moves are made, what happens? Offenses come. Offenses come. This is what we have to understand. But if it's about charity, it says charity, read it again.
Verse 5. Do not behave itself unseemingly.
Charity don't behave itself unseemingly. Charity is not going to do the wrong things. Y'all understand that? Jump back.
1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
Let's see here. Where do we want to go? I wasn't going to do that. Go to... So go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 8. Jump down to verse... Verse 7.
Come on. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 7. Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol. And their conscience being weak is defiled.
Right. Go ahead. I'm going to explain what it's saying. Go ahead.
But meat commandeth us not to God.
Right.
But meat commendeth us, but not to God. For neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse.
Right. So what this is saying is, to put it in, okay, it's like this. I drink. This brother, let's say I drink and this brother don't drink. What the scriptures say is lawful to drink. But guess what? He might not know that. He might be the super duper Christian that's like, Christ didn't drink wine. That wasn't real wine. That was grape juice. Right? And I'd be like, when we show him through the scriptures, like, nah, wine, and Timothy says drink a little wine for thy belly's sake. Wine moderately drink in season is good. And he's just like, no, I'm not going to drink. So we go out to the bar. And I start ordering my drinks. Right? I order drinks. I know he don't drink. I know he don't like alcohol. He hates it. The effects of it. He's seen the effects on people. Am I gonna sit there and order drinks in front of this dude? Knowing that it's gonna offend him? My meat is gonna offend? No. Man, what you drinking? Oh, I'm gonna give you some water. You know what? Let me get some water too. Because why? My meat is gonna offend. I know there's nothing wrong with drinking. Through the Bible, through the scriptures. I know that if I want, I can drink. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I got this brother next to me that don't understand. He's like, nah, I ain't drinking. I had a bad experience. I ain't doing it. Yeah. I don't believe that Christ drank wine. Okay, come on. I'm not going to drink in front of him. Because my meat, when it says your meat, it's talking about your works, the things you're doing. Y'all see that? Read on.
Verse 9. But take heed.
Right, and you see in verse 8, he said, but meat commended us not unto the Most High. For neither if we eat are we better. So it's like, if I don't drink or if I don't drink or if I do drink, it don't make the matter because it don't change things. It's not about not doing it or doing it. It's not about if I can do it lawfully. All things are lawful, but not expedient. Right. All things are lawful, but not all things edify. Charity edifieth. Y'all see that? Read verse 9.
But take heed, lest by any means this liberty.
Yeah, the liberty is that I can drink. But guess what? It says, take heed. Read.
Of yours become a stumbling block.
It becomes a what?
Stumbling block.
Now he sees me pounding down liquor. Now he starts to stumble like these niggas is just drunkards. Right. Wow. Damn, they all drink. I might hit one beer. Every brother might have a beer. He don't drink. Now he's like, oh, they're just a bunch of drunkards. Now what? Or, guess what? It's just me and him. That's out. The camp ain't even here. Just me and this brother. We go out to eat. And I'm just ordering liquor. And he's sitting there like, damn, this what y'all do? Now the whole camp somehow was just a bunch of drunkards. Men, women, and children. And that whole camp, all they do is just drink, man. I can't mess with that. Because in my Bible, my Jesus, but that's why it says take heed. Because guess what? He's only a week into the truth. I shouldn't even be out drinking with him. I shouldn't even be out drinking with him. He shouldn't see my liberty. Yeah. He ain't ready for that. It's my liberty. Read on. Read it again.
But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Right, because he's weak in the faith. Not that he's a weak man. He's weak in the understanding. Y'all get that? Read.
For if any man see thee, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
Right, so now it's like, well, damn, he's starting to feel pressure that he got to drink now. But he ain't down with the liquor. Yeah. So it's weakening his conscience. That peer pressure is like, either I do this or I don't. You see that? Y'all understand this, right?
God.
Read.
Verse 11.
Read.
And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish.
He's going to do what?
Perish.
Read it again.
And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish.
Read.
For whom Christ died.
It's a question. He's saying, and through thy knowledge should that weak brother perish? It's a question. Read it as a question. Read.
And through thy knowledge.
Through you knowing that it's okay to drink, but he don't get it. Is you going to let your knowledge destroy your brother? That's what it's asking. Read on.
Shall the weak brother perish?
Read.
For whom Christ died?
Read.
But when ye sin,
Uh-huh.
so against the brethren.
Is it a sin to drink? No, but guess what is a sin? To offend a man with your meat, with your work. That's why he said, But when ye sin so against the brethren. Read on.
And wound their weak conscience.
And do what?
Wound their weak conscience.
Yeah, now you're putting wounds into a weak man. Read.
Ye sin against Christ.
You do what?
Ye sin against Christ.
Yeah, now it goes back to that Acts 24 and 16, where it says that exercise yourself to not offend God and man. But now you offended, you wounding Christ, you offending Christ, you offending man. Nobody wants nothing to do with you. Get the hell up out of here. But then guess what it does? It stains us all.
Right.
We can't let that happen. What's up?
So is that saying, even though you're not by the law sinning,
right,
you sinned?
Yeah, because you sinned against your brother
Come.
in a way of your offense. You're not breaking law. All things are lawful. Paul said it.
Come.
All things are lawful, but all things do not edify. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are expedient.
Come.
Now, this is, watch, read on. Read verse 13. Watch.
Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend.
If my work offend my brother, read.
I will eat no flesh.
Yeah, see, this should be the mind state. Right. To keep your conduct. You should say, this is the, thank you. This is the real charity. This is the charity that edifies. Yeah. This is the charity that behaves itself properly. Where it's like, well, damn, you don't drink? I ain't going to argue with you. Guess what? Whatever you drink, I'm drinking. Apple juice? I'll drink apple juice. I need some anyway. Water? I need more water. Right? Read on.
I will eat no flesh while the world standeth.
Right. Read on.
Lest I make my brother to offend.
Right. So it's not saying I'm never going to ever drink ever again. What it's saying is this. I'm not going to do it until he understands. Until his weak conscience is now strong. Until he's ready. What you got?
Romans chapter 14 and verse 21.
Man, you stealing my scriptures, bro. I think that's where I'm going next, actually.
Oh, okay. My bad.
14 and verse, actually, start at verse 15.
Verse 15.
Yep.
But if thy brother be grieved.
But if thy brother be what?
Be grieved.
Read.
With thy meat.
Read.
Now, walkest thou not charitable.
Right. See, if my works, the things that I'm doing, grieve a man, how am I walking charitable? I'm not. Read.
Destroy not him with thy meat.
Read.
For whom Christ died.
Read on.
Let not then your good be evil spoken of.
This is how you don't let your good be evil spoken of. When your meat does not offend, but you have to do certain things. Walk circumspect. Know who you're around. Know them that labor amongst you. Ain't nothing wrong with drinking. But guess what? It might offend a brother. He might not have had a drink in his life. I got a cousin like that. Super Christian. He's like, no, I don't drink. But guess what? You know what's funny? I go to his house, he'll offer me a beer. He doesn't drink, but he's not offended when you drink. He'll have beer in the fridge for guests because he understands that that's me. Everybody ain't got to live by what I live by. Right. But then you got some people, it's like, you take a sip, they're like, oh my God, you just committed sin. It's like, what? Just have a Heineken. Yeah. Just had a damn Guinness, that's it. Yeah. But to them, since their conscience is weak, they don't get it. So now when you understand that, you're supposed to either do one or two things. Say, F you Negro, I'm a drink. Or say, you know what? I'm a charitable brother that's here for my people, trying to not destroy the good that I've built. So I'm going to condescend to this man until he gets it. He may never get it. So guess what? I'm going to never drink around him ever. Whenever we go out, I got water. He come to the house, he want to kick it, counsel, whatever. You want some water? That don't mean I don't have to drink, just not in front of him. Read on.
Verse 17.
Go ahead.
But the kingdom of the Most High is not meat and drink.
And this is what we got to understand. The kingdom of the Most High ain't about your damn lust. But see, a man in the mindset of I'm going to do me, I ain't keeping the order. It's all about meat, drink, women, booze, cars, clothes, this, that. It might even be about too much knowledge. I got to seek knowledge. I got to seek knowledge and seek knowledge and seek knowledge. Now I'm no longer personable. You see that?
God.
Read on.
But righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit.
Read.
For he that in these things serveth Yahushua is acceptable of the Most High.
What verse you at?
Verse 18.
Read.
To the Most High, and approved of men.
Go ahead.
Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace.
We're supposed to do what?
Follow after the things which make for peace.
Right, we're not supposed to follow after the meat and drink in our own bellies, but the things that make for peace, for building, for growth. Go ahead.
And things wherewith one may edify another.
We may do what?
Edify another.
Right, because charity edifieth.
Right.
Not meat and drink. Not doing my own thing. Not building my own foundation. This is what we stand on. The charity. The building. The good. Read. What verse you at?
Verse 20.
Read.
For meat destroyeth not the work of the Most High.
Go ahead.
All things indeed are pure.
Read.
But it is evil for that man who eateth with offense.
You see that? It just answers your question. It just answered your question if you were listening. It says, read it again.
Read verse 20.
Uh-huh.
For meat destroy not the work of the Most High.
You see that? The what you're doing don't destroy the work. Right? It's not what you're doing. There's nothing wrong. Like, I'm using drinking as an example that we all can understand. There's other things. You got brothers that don't deal with women. Right? And and if you're around a brother that's always about women, they're gonna be like, what the hell? That's all this brother talks about.
It's awkward.
Yeah, it's all. I don't want to deal with women all the time. I don't want to talk about women all the time, but that's all you talk about. They're gonna be offended. It's with anything. I'm using alcohol or drinking because that's easy. Easy concept to grasp. So it's not the fact that I'm drinking or talking to women. Read on.
All things indeed are pure.
All things are pure. Right? All things are lawful. It's
right.
Lawful to talk to women. It's lawful to drink. It's lawful to eat meat. That's lawful. It's lawful to eat lawful meat. Okay?
God.
You don't gotta be a damn vegetarian if you think that it's actually talking about meat. It's lawful. Read. They're pure. To the pure, all things are pure. These things were created for the good of man, right?
God.
Read.
But it is evil.
But it's evil. This is where the sin comes in. Read.
For that man who eateth with offense.
Right, because now the people around you are offended at what you're doing, and you continue to do it. That's the evil. Read on.
Verse 21.
Read.
It is good neither to eat flesh.
Read.
Nor to drink wine.
Read.
Nor anything whereby thy brother stumble.
And this is the point. You might as well not do these things in front of that man. Because it's going to cause him to stumble. Read on.
Or is offended.
Or is what?
Offended.
Read on.
Or is made weak.
Y'all see this, right?
God.
Proverbs 18 and verse 19. We're going to get all this out. We ain't leaving. We're going to get this out.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 19.
And this is the problem that brothers don't understand when they're misconduct, when they're offenses, when they do things without thinking. When they don't back things up with what's been laid down, their actions become off. Even when they're not. Even when you're within the premise of the law. But you offend, this is when it gets bad. This is, read Proverbs 18 and 19.
Hey, Proverbs 18 and 19. A brother offended.
A brother offended, read.
Is harder to be won
than
a strong city.
Think about that. Let that sink into your brains. Into the frontal lobe, the cortex, all that. All the other parts of the brain y'all got. Yeah. Think about that. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. Why? Why? Because he said, you know what? You didn't care about me. You didn't look after the things that I needed. Yeah, you might have took me out to go eat, but then you offended me into eating. You did something good, right? Because then it's like, man, me and this cat went out to go eat, and all he did was just drink. We went out to go have a good time, but then it turned out to a bad time. We went to go do some good, but then guess what? Now my good is evil spoken of because of what I did within the good. This is what we got to be careful of. Read on.
A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city.
Go ahead.
And their contention.
And the contentions. Now the reasons of let's make up, let's do things, let's get better. Their contentions, their reasoning. Right? Read.
Are like the bars of the castle.
Y'all know what a castle is built like. That shit is strong with a K. Strong. Right? You ain't pulling down them bars. And if you do, it ain't gonna be easy. You're gonna be there working and working and working. Can they not be one? Of course they can. But it's saying that it's gonna take work. Hard work. Because why? One sinner destroyeth much good. And you'll be surprised at how quickly it happens. You put in all this work, months, years. And one man can come with one action and rip it all down. And rip it all down because he wasn't thinking. Because he wasn't being considerate. He wasn't being charitable. He wasn't being empathetic, sympathetic. So what do we do? What do we do? Go to Romans 16. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. Romans 16 and verse 17.
Romans chapter 16, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Now I beseech you, brethren.
So I'm telling you, brethren, read.
Mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned.
You see that? We got to mark them. Now you got to state, because guess what? The mark is the stain. We got to put it back onto them and show that, listen, this ain't us. This is them. Or that individual. Or that person. It ain't all of us. It's him. It's her. That's you over there. That ain't us in here. You see that? Mark them. So now we got to separate and mark. Read.
And avoid them.
And do what?
Avoid them.
Yeah, now they got to be avoided. We got to mark them because what they're doing, they're causing separation. They're doing, it says walking, read it again.
Now I beseech you, brethren,
mark
them which cause division and offenses.
Read.
Contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned.
Right, see, they're going, you know why it says mark them and avoid them? Because now they're going contrary to what we've learned.
Right, the enemy.
They're going contrary to the doctrine that's been laid down. They're going contrary to the foundation. They're not going after the principal things that worked and that need to be done. And they're read on, read verse 18. This is why, read.
For they that are such serve not the Lord, Yahweh Shah.
Read.
But their own belly.
But what?
But their own belly.
Yeah, they're after their own belly. It's like, yeah, I helped you out. They do things just to say they did it. But that ain't the way to do things. You got to give people what they need. You don't get, you don't, if I need a blanket, you don't give me a pillow. I need a blanket, I'm cold, bro. I already got you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't just give me something, well, I gave you a blanket. Well, yeah, you gave me what I didn't need. You gave me what I didn't ask for. Yeah. You see that? You don't give me a DayQuil if I need a NyQuil. Well, I gave you medicine, but yeah, the damn NyQuil puts me to sleep during the night. The DayQuil is going to keep me up. So, you just messed up what should have been done. Read on.
And by good words and fair speeches,
read,
deceive the hearts of the simple.
And that's the thing. They come with the good words, the fair speech. Yeah, I'm about everything that's been laid down. Now that the simple are deceived. Go to Psalms 94. Psalms 94. Actually, go to 1 Timothy 5 and 20. Y'all got something? 1 Timothy 5 and 20. Somebody else get 2 Thessalonians 3 and verse 15.
1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 20.
Somebody else get Psalms 94 and 16. Read what you got, ABR.
You got it. Right.
1 Timothy.
I call 3 scriptures.
Oh.
Yep. Read it, Ray. Lamont.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 20.
Go ahead.
Them that sin, rebuke before all.
Do what?
Rebuke before all.
Yeah, if you're going to be offending brothers and offending sisters, it says do what?
Rebuke before all.
Read.
That others also may fear.
Yeah, we can't let that ride.
Right.
We can't stand for it. We have to rebuke them. Right? Where we at? Go to Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians 3:14.
Get it quick.
Where's the one that said that?
2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
And if any man obey not the word of this epistle, note that man.
Do what?
Note that man.
Note it. He ain't following. Read.
And have no company with him.
Read.
That he may be ashamed.
Read. That's it on that. Go to Titus chapter 1 verse 13. I'm going fast because it's 10:30. Titus 1 and verse 13.
Titus chapter 1 verse 13. This witness is true.
Read.
Wherefore rebuke them sharply.
Do what?
Rebuke them sharply.
Yeah, you got to rebuke them sharply. Read.
Rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith.
They may be what?
Sound in the faith.
They may be sound in what's been laid down. You got to rebuke them sharply. Go to Psalms 94 verse 16.
Psalms chapter 94 verse 16.
This is why we do it. Read.
Who will raise up for me against the evildoer?
Right, this is a question. Who's going to stand up for the evil against the evildoers? Or are we just going to let things ride that are contrary to what's been already done? Are we going to let people just offend for the sake of, I got to do me and follow my own way? Read.
Or who will stand up for me against the evil workers, the workers of iniquity?
Right? So it's a question. That got to be us. That has to be us. In closing, go to Jude chapter 8 and verse 24. And I want to say this, man. Judith. Yeah.
In the Apocrypha.
Judith chapter 8 verse 24. Listen, man. We can't stand for it.
Right.
When y'all see it, the scriptures say bring it out. There are ways to do it. But it has to be brought out. So that one sinner, I'm going to keep saying it, so that one sinner doesn't destroy the good that we've built. Right. So that one instance doesn't determine the fate of the school, the fate of your household. Right. You see that? There has to be a separation between what's real and what's fact and what's going on. And what's going on is that us in here, we follow the foundations. We keep the ordinances that's been laid down. Y'all understand that? Read that.
Jude chapter 8 verse 24.
And this is to all brothers in positions of leadership, all sisters in leadership, anybody that's working personally, interpersonally with other people and building. This is very important. Read.
Now therefore, O brethren,
read.
Let us show an example to our brethren.
And not just any old raggedy, cockamamie, tootie booty, what is it? Raggedy this example. It should be one of Christ. It should be the examples that Paul laid down, Christ laid down. These are the examples that we're supposed to uphold. Read on.
Because their heart depends upon us.
Because what?
Their heart depends upon us.
Yeah, because we're dependent upon to build, to grow, to build spirits, to build the nation. Read.
And the sanctuary.
And the schools. Read.
And the house.
Read.
And the altar.
Read.
Rest upon us.
You see that? It rests upon us. It rests upon us to be the good example of faith, of charity, of long-suffering, of restraint, of temperance. It rests upon us. Y'all get that? Any questions? What about the one you had? We good?
Yeah.
You sure? You could ask.
Okay.
Okay. I hope they have no questions online. I was kind of going in. I'm sorry. No questions? Did the feed was good, right?
Yeah, it went
good. Listen, if y'all got questions online, today is Monday. We will be back Wednesday. So, yeah, whatever questions y'all got, you know, shoot them through on Wednesday. If there's no questions in here, nothing online, we definitely thank y'all for joining us. Any alms y'all want to give, any donations, any priest fund, send them through to the Google Wallet, Isbhpk. Remember, Passover is coming up. Today is the 1st of the month. So what we got? 3 more months, right? Because Passover is April 1st, right? Right. So whatever y'all can help us out with would be greatly appreciated. We want to do it big. We want to do it orca big. All right? So
orca big.
Yeah, we want lambs. We want a nice building.
Extravagant.
We need y'all's help. So if y'all want to help, y'all, you guys can buy the raffle ticket. That's going to help. We do that every year. That's going to help out. If you just want to donate, you can donate. The penny wars, you can do that. The sisters got chips in the back and stuff like that. That's for the kids. If you want to help with the kids fund, whatever money goes to the kids. Take them out somewhere nice. They need it too. We love the kids. But anything you want to give, man, towards the Passover, you can send that to the Google Wallet on the Isbhpk and the Wells Fargo account 101-580-6167. All right? So we definitely appreciate everybody. And with that, we're just going to salute and say shalom. Shalom. Shalom.